Rob Dauster here. I got Jeff Goodman with me.
Hell no.
John Fink.
Are we still live?
Field of 68 till I die.
I'm sorry, man. I blacked out.
Randolph, Childress.
DJ Khaled, you know the big DJ Khaled guy?
Hands thrown up and in.
Goodman needs to be fired all the time.
Josh Pastner.
You're going to beat people, straight up.
You know the deal.
They have no swag. They have no nothing.
Terrell McNeil.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors.
This is Field of 68 after dark.
The party begin in Phoenix, Arizona, everybody. The Field of 68 presents our first Final Four show of the week. We are live from Huss Brewing downtown. This is one of 4 locations around this area. Huss Brewing is our headquarters all throughout the week here at the Field of 68. They've got several great brews to try, from the Orange Blossom to the Scottsdale Blonde. So many great menu items. Please stop and see us. Again, we are at Huss Brewing on East Monroe Street. I'm John Fanta. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. This is like the holidays. Jeff Goodman is here. Rob Dauster is here. Randolph Childress is here. We've got a cast of thousands, more than you'll see at Augusta, here this week. Fellas, let's get right into it here. It's a Final Four. We've got UConn and Alabama on one side, and we've got Purdue and NC State on the other. It just goes to show you, when you start this tournament, you don't know what 4 you're going to get, but so many storylines. Jeff Goodman, what is your favorite storyline? Happy Final Four week, my friend.
No, happy Final Four week. Obviously, this is the best time of year, and you get it in a place where we can do this show outside, not Detroit, Michigan. Right? Like, what are we thinking in a couple of years?
And 45 seconds into the show, you throw Detroit, Michigan under the bus.
I love this. No, I love Phoenix. I love Scottsdale. We'll be there tonight. If anybody wants to see us, come by Scottsdale tonight, Thursday night, Friday night. I mean, Dauster may not be standing, but you might be able to see him too.
Yeah, we got a canned blonde right here. We got the bottled blonde later on.
Yeah, we do.
We got options.
We got options. It doesn't get much better than this, man. It's my favorite week of the year. It's my favorite trip that we make every year. The Final Four, seeing everybody, the environment. It's like everything that is great about the sport.
I mean, John Calipari just walked right behind us about 10 minutes ago, RC, and he had kind of a dazed look on his face. I don't know if it was because he saw me.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Or because he's worried about anybody around, any Kentucky
Does he know
fans
who you are?
yelling "Fire Cal."
Does he know? Does he still know who you are?
Oh, he knows who I am.
Last time he walked by you, it just seemed like he didn't know who you were.
Do you remember here?
It was here.
It was here.
At the W.
We're probably going to have a repeat performance tomorrow night.
We just did. He just walked right past.
Yeah.
Hello, Randolph Childress.
He walked by. He was like, "Randolph, RC, what's up, man? How we doing?"
He just walked past, gave me the head nod.
RC, we're starting right on this, because you've had your wonderful video tribute that you sent to us when we were in Boston. Yes, there's an ACC team here. We have the ACC represented. We have 4 different leagues. The SEC is represented with Alabama. Who would have thought that after they lost 4 of their last 6 games heading into the tournament? We have a Big East team in UConn. That's not surprising. And Purdue out of the Big Ten. Could the Big Ten title drought be snapped? But NC State is here.
Right.
How on earth are they here?
Listen, that team just came together, and I just think defensively they're a lot better than people give them credit for. And obviously we've seen what DJ Burns has turned into, but their perimeter defense has gotten a lot better, and the role players just stepped up.
Let me translate that for you. Whenever anybody says, well, their team just came together, what he really means is, I have no idea how in the hell NC State is here.
No. Can you speak to –
no one knows.
Not even NC State.
Can you speak to 3 weeks ago where Kevin Keats stood to where he stands right now?
I want to speak to RC a few nights ago, and the fact that he thought, and everybody thought, Duke would be here, and instead it's NC State. And now we can look at the ACC a little bit differently than you were looking at them the other night.
No. Fanta was on the show, and we talked about it, and I said, the backcourt defensively can give Duke some trouble.
Yes.
I spoke that NC State. I said they had just beaten them in the ACC tournament. This is not the slam dunk the layup that everybody thought it was going to be. So I spoke up for State. Now, I didn't say I was betting on them.
You can speak up for them all you want, but doesn't this show that the ACC is mid like I said it was all year.
No.
This shows it. The only team you got in is an 11 seed. Where's Duke? Where's Carolina? Where's Virginia? Where's Clemson?
Okay, they just went home. Like, they haven't even unpacked. They just went home. They haven't even unpacked. Some of the guys are already on vacation. They're home. Players are home. Families on vacation. Clemson, Duke, and Carolina haven't even unpacked.
Rob, what are you more intrigued by this week? UConn trying to make history as the first back-to-back since 06-07, or Purdue chasing the ultimate redemption?
Put those hands together. Give me a little bit of column A, give me a little bit of column B. What I want, all due respect to Alabama fans, all due respect to my NC State fans, I want to see that UConn-Purdue game. I think it's what everybody wants. They're the two best teams in college basketball. They're the two best stories in college basketball.
Right.
Like, it's awesome that NC State has made this run, and there's always a part of, I think, all of us that appreciate the way that some of these Cinderellas, and yes, I am calling NC State a Cinderella. If anybody's ever been a Cinderella at the ball, it's been DJ Burns wearing the glass slippers, right? But I think we all want to see that UConn-Purdue national title game. It feels like that's what the sport kind of deserves. Yeah. And I was telling Randolph this earlier. It feels this reminds me quite a bit of the 1999 NCAA tournament run, where UConn and Duke were kind of on this collision course in the national title game, where everyone was saying how good this Duke team was. They had Elton Brand, they had William Avery, they had Trajan Langdon, they had all of these pros, they had all of these guys that were going to end up being these great players down the road. They were this great team that everyone anointed from the start of the season. And then here comes UConn, who had never really gotten to that point, who had never really reached that level in their first Final Four ever. Went down there, slayed the Giants, top dogs, Khalid El-Amin, jumped up on there on the scores table, let everybody know, right? Am I crazy in saying that that's kind of what this feels like a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think this one was one we wanted for 3 months now.
Right.
We've literally looked at this. And now, again, there were some other teams that kind of got in the periphery, right? Houston, okay, maybe. Arizona for a minute. But for the most part, it's been these storylines, too, once we saw how good UConn was. Because we didn't expect this. Again, Danny Hurley will remind you over and over and over. We were closer to fourth than third in the Big East preseason poll. He says it every single press conference. Thanks, Dan.
I ain't buying that. No. He's returning a lottery. He had 2 lottery picks.
Yeah,
returning. Like, this team was damn good. I don't know who we thought was going to be there. Maybe Marquette. I don't see them dropping past that at anybody's. So I question John Fanta and whoever else was voting in the Big East.
The coaches vote for the preseason poll.
Well,
I didn't have them third. The coaches did. They did lose 5 of their top 8 scorers.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but when 2 of them are lotteries and you got a freshman coming in,
right,
and you got a lottery pick coming in, cupboard wasn't bare.
The big question was going to be, was Klingon going to be healthy when it mattered?
True.
That was the big question for the first third of the season. It was like, okay, big dude, foot issues.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We've seen that.
Right? And if Klingon's not healthy, let's face it, there's no way in hell this team's here.
And don't forget, Stefan Castle wasn't healthy for a little bit. And so then people are saying, hey, what's going on? Now, here's what's great. We're live. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're on Sirius XM every single day here from Huss Brewing Company. Stop and see us at East Monroe Street. But by being live, we are giving you in-the-moment news. And our in-the-moment news right now, this is just broken. Dan Hurley and UConn are stuck right now due to logistical and mechanical issues with their plane, which was coming in from Kansas City. So they have significant delays. The latest that we're hearing is that UConn could get a plane around 12:45 a.m. Eastern Time. This is the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Credit the lander. Credit the lander.
Matt Norlander of CBS Sports has reported this at Matt Norlander. The plane from Cincinnati, which UConn could potentially get on, would require a fuel stop because the plane is smaller. The Huskies are going to get to Arizona with just hours to spare before they see the media on Thursday. UConn remains in limbo, waiting on their earliest flight, but barring a stunner, their plane will not get out until after midnight. This is due to a crewing hours thing with the FAA. Jeff Goodman, because the crew has worked a certain amount of hours, their plane right now can't fly. What is your reaction to Connecticut not being able to fly till after midnight when they were supposed to fly hours ago this afternoon?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You were flabbergasted. You were like in an uproar. Oh, no, my God. They're not going to get in until late tonight in the morning. And they're not going to be fresh to face us.
I'm in an uproar.
They have 3 days before they play a game.
It has nothing to do with that. And I think, Rob, try to inject some reasoning here. It has nothing to do with whether it impacts their performance. It has to do with this is the NCAA. This is the Final Four.
But let's not let Dan Hurley control the narrative here of, like, we were screwed here. Like, they've got plenty of time.
No.
Take it for me,
please. No. This is a conspiracy. The NCAA does not want UConn to win.
Oh, my God.
This is the NCAA. This is Charlie Baker reaching down from above and saying, we don't want UConn to win this national title.
I shouldn't have relied on him to be the voice of reason.
Hey,
Yeah,
Fanta.
I knew you was in trouble when you relied on on Rob.
RC, you know
It's
where
true.
I'm saying. RC, this is the Final Four, and we got to play. They can't fly.
As a player, I would hate it because you and I were just talking about that. Rob says he sleeps on plane. You and I say we don't. So I wouldn't want to fly all night knowing I can't sleep.
Thank you.
And then wake up the next
I
day.
get it, but you have 2 days.
True.
It's not that.
But,
It's not like you're playing tomorrow.
But you're talking about a superstitious coach that's going to have your ass in the gym practicing.
But the kids aren't. The kids aren't.
The kids aren't what?
Superstitious.
No, they're not. But they're still going to have to go to the schedule.
I don't know.
that the
Well, they
superstitious
are.
Some of
coach-
them are.
They are very
That they
superstitious.
coach
Act like
what?
they are because their coach is a lunatic. Like, come on.
It's not
No, I'm
about
just
their
saying,
ability to
keeping the
play.
schedule, though. They're going to still have to do some
Yeah.
All I'm saying
study
is,
hall.
All I'm saying is tomorrow is Thursday. It's not even Friday.
Okay.
It's not even Friday. If
So-
this were Friday morning, I would say, okay, you know what? I get it.
You're
Do you
touching, you're touching the ball, though. You're going to practice at some point. When are you going to practice?
Tomorrow. You'll practice. You'll sleep. They'll sleep when they get here. They'll get in. You know, then they'll figure it out.
Do you work for the NCAA? Do you work for the NCAA?
No, it's not. This is not.
We
on
actually
me.
just met him in the
Okay.
lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
why are you riding for the NCAA right now?
I'm just being honest. I'm being honest.
All right,
here.
here, be honest with me. Wait, be honest with me then on this. So you don't think much of this. Charlie Baker will see the media at some point this week. The NCAA is going to talk.
saw Charlie.
You've
Yeah,
been
me and him were on the same flight.
Right. So
We're hanging.
what's the biggest thing that the NCAA should be addressing with the state of college basketball right now?
Oh, I mean, we don't have enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have that question cannot be answered right now. Like we got days here to talk about that. I don't think we're ready for that one right now.
I'm ready for it.
Oh, let's pick one topic
One
per
topic.
day.
I didn't
I'm ready.
mention
I'm
it.
ready for
It's
it.
NIL. It's obviously NIL.
Nope.
I
Wrong.
just had a coach call me, and you know what he said? He said, "I just got up the phone with an agent, and they asked for $1 million for a player just now, $1 million, and it was a mid-major player, a mid-major player." Now, he also said there's several agents representing the same kid, so basically, the kid hasn't picked an agent. There's a lot of these lower-level NIL agents out there. And a bunch of them are calling around trying to get the best offer and then going to the kid and saying, I get you 900 here.
That's
and
what they're
another
doing.
agent saying, I can get you 700 here. It is a mess right now. It's a mess. Again, I understand the intention is good, the fact that these kids are going to get paid. But right now, the sport is in flux. It is. It's in flux, and it's not good right now. It's not. I know people want me to say, hey, it's all – I heard Sean Farnham say it on Sirius. Let's promote the goodness of – listen, when we see Purdue, UConn play, hopefully in the national title game, that is the goodness.
Of course.
On the court is great. Off the court right now, and I think it's too late for Charlie Baker to be able to rein it in. I do.
No, there's ways to rein it in. You can require a certain, like, there's got to be contract structures. There's got to be guarantees for the players that are getting these deals. There's got to be actual, like, some kind of registration for an agent the way that they do in the NBA, right? You have to be able to go through some certain kind of testing, or whatever it is. There's ways to build structure around it, but you need those structures in place. Like the idea, and I understand that people hate the word guardrails when it comes to NIL, but you need, like, no other professional sport, and we're all adults here, right? We're all sitting in a bar. We all got to be 21 years old. I got a beverage in front of me. We're all grown-ups here. So let's talk about it like grown-ups. This is professional sports. These are guys getting paid for play. So there is no other professional sport where there is no structure. There's no salary cap. There's no requirements for guaranteed years. There's no requirements for guaranteed money. There's no way to put protections in place for the players where if they're told they're going to get a certain amount and that contract is signed, that they're actually going to get that amount. There's no way to guarantee that right now. That's the problem.
Though I agree,
contracts through agents.
Though I agree with you and what you guys were saying, my only pushback is you dragged your feet for so long, and you got out in front of this, then now it's gotten out of hand.
Mark
so
Hammer.
be it, and then deal
But
with it.
That's a lot
then
of
deal
Mark
with
Hammer.
it. Deal with it because you let this manifest itself. We should have been out in front of this years ago.
You know what the problem is, though?
Years ago.
You say deal with it, and I agree, but it's gonna force a lot of coaches, good coaches, out of the game earlier than they should.
Already has.
Like I've talked about. Right, Jay Wright, obviously, he might still be coaching.
They got their, no disrespect, they're legends of it. They had their lion's share of this. And nobody cared when the good guys, quote unquote, were getting their ass trying to do it the right way, and all the crap was happening behind the scenes before. So that narrative, I'm like, no. It's just what the NIL. I tell you what.
Don't you think it's gotten out of control?
No, I do think it's gotten out of control. But what it has done is, in some aspects, it allowed somebody like if Fanta was my guy and had a crap ton of money, allowed me to get back in the game. Allowed me to say, hey. Same thing that was happening behind the scenes with the shoe deals and the NILs and the boosters and everything else. Now I got a guy that can come in with a company or whatever and then take care of my athletes. So it's created even more parity, I think. And though, again, it needs to be legislated, there needs to be, but it's created more parity.
That's a really good point because what everyone was saying was the rich are only going to get richer if this happens. Well, you know what? Guess who's in the Final Four right now? Alabama's the first time they made the Final Four. NC State's the first time they made it in 41 years. We're looking at Purdue. It's the first time they made it since 1980.
Go back to the Elite Eight. Just go to the Elite Eight.
Look at last year's Final Four. Miami, San Diego State,
Illinois,
FAU,
05.
UConn, Illinois. Like it has created more parity because some of these programs that are considered more great basketball programs maybe don't have the money like this, right? And you know who does? It's some of these programs that are football programs that know how to get the shit done.
It's forced the blue billers and all the ones that traditionally was able to get away and do stuff a certain way. It's forced them now where they've got a ceiling from NIL. They don't have just a blank check to say I can spend money and do whatever I want. And it's real. So I think it's helped in that aspect.
Let's talk. Go ahead. And then, okay,
no, go ahead.
All right.
Let's
talk more about this Final Four because I do think last year we were thinking about Connecticut and San Diego State, Miami and Florida Atlantic, and we defined that, and it was not the most buzzworthy Final Four going into it. In fact, it was quite the opposite of that. How would you define this collection of 4 teams? I know what we want. We all know what we want with UConn and Purdue. What do you make of this Final Four?
Well, again, I said it like 2 weeks ago. I said, I think we're going to have a couple people come to the party that we didn't expect. We just didn't know who. Like, I thought it might be another mid-major, like a Florida Atlantic, a VCU type, a George Mason type. Instead, we have high major, NC State, we never thought. Alabama, we didn't think. You and I saw them. So you kind of knew this was going to happen, I think. There were 2 powerful teams, and Houston could have been here. If Jamal Shedd doesn't get hurt, let's face it, Houston's probably here, right? We all agree on that?
Yes.
And then it's a little bit better because you have one heavyweight matchup. Right now you're looking at it, you're saying to yourself, all right, like where's the upset going to come from? Can either team really lose?
Do you think?
I don't.
I do want to push back on that a little bit because I think after the first weekend, did we really think that there was going to be like this level of craziness? Because we had all 4 1 seeds, we had all 4 2 seeds, we had 2 3s, 2 4 seeds, 2 5 seeds, a 6 and an 11. Did we really think that?
I didn't think NC State would be here. Be honest.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was going to be closer to chalk than this.
Yeah.
Right. I think
chalk.
we all had North Carolina beating Alabama.
I think the biggest thing for me is that it's just rare in this tournament for the 2 teams that you've been talking about for 4 months to still be standing in the Final Four and potentially meet for a national championship. We see it in college football. In the NBA playoffs in a 7-game series, it weeds itself out. You end up with the 2 best teams or 2 of the best 3. That's what's refreshing about Darcy is if we do, with all due respect to Alabama and NC State, because if either one of them wins, we're going to be talking Saturday night about how wild that is and what kind of an upset that is, because it would be. But if we get Klingon versus Edey, college basketball has not seen 2 7-footers starting in a national championship game since Hakeem Olajuwon versus Patrick Ewing. Like, that to me, if we get this matchup that we've been talking about, we wished it would happen in November or December. Obviously it didn't. That's great for college basketball.
It's great for college basketball because in that single elimination tournament, we don't always get the best teams throughout the year. We don't get that. And if that happens and we get Purdue and UConn, we get the best team from November to March. Those 2 have been hands down. They've been the top 2 teams that we've known from November to now. So if we get that, that's what you want. two best teams all year long.
Storylines are so good.
Yes.
Not just that the teams are so
Yes.
good. The storylines with both of them, obviously UConn with a first repeat since, Billy Donovan's Florida teams in 06-07. And then you've got Purdue and obviously what they went through last year, suffering the worst loss probably in NCAA tournament history, and Painter, how he handled it. Like, that's the beauty of this is. Then you've also got two coaches that are polar opposites.
Yes.
There, right? I mean, Hurley the Maniac against Painter. It was kind of like this for the most part, right? Really thoughtful, doesn't really overreact, just kind of does his thing. And
if Painter was here, he would be sipping on one of these with me.
Totally.
I wouldn't be drinking alone by myself.
Hurley might
over
be
here.
too. He'd just be like downing. He'd shotgun it probably.
He's with House Money. He's already answered the bell. He's answered it because they made it this far.
Who? Painter?
Painter.
You think they're good?
Oh,
you think they're good? I disagree.
They will lose to a double-digit seed. That's not.
No,
what
I
I
don't
mean
think he
is,
means that.
what
I think he means winning the whole thing.
I mean from this saying that you're talking about a style of play. His style and all the postseason failure in March. And for him to get this far, you can't tell me that as great as he is he's not worried about job security, any of that. But there had to be some doubt to say, can I win in March?
We all had that doubt.
That's what I'm saying.
We all had that doubt.
And there's no question he had to have it as well. Like, hey, and he has his system and he plays it. This isn't the most talented team. They were better a year ago.
That doubt's
or 2 years ago when Ivy was here. They had explosive guard. This team was talented.
Couldn't guard a tree, but yes.
And again, now if they didn't have Zach Edey, they couldn't guard anything.
No, but Braden Smith's different. I mean, he's different than he was a year ago.
No,
he's one of the top 5 point guards in the country, I think.
No,
I think
not
he's
that.
there.
No,
right around there.
He's good.
He's
He's up there, though. He's up.
I'm
there.
saying
He's somewhere in
he's
that
in
5
that
to 10.
mix.
He
He's
belongs
somewhere
in
the top 5.
His
top
elevation
10.
there is
Right.
no question. He belongs there.
Yeah.
He belongs there.
Can I just say real quick though, like on this idea that that they're kind of playing with house money, I absolutely think that Purdue is at this point. Like, that's not to say that they don't want to win a championship, but
I don't think they had the pressure. I agree with you.
But like I feel like now that they're here, the pressure is off to be able and look.
And
I will say that there still is the potential for the funniest thing to happen with Purdue having all their issues with double-digit seeds to finally make it to the Final Four and lose to that would objectively be hilarious.
But
Back me up.
All I'm saying is that I'm not saying they're not expecting to win it. You're at the Final freaking Four. You're having expectations to win.
I agree.
I'm only saying that the pressure is off, that we're not going to lose in the first or second round of the tournament.
Agreed.
So now they can just play.
I think we're all agreeing on that. You can both say the pressure's off that they made the Final Four and that they're not playing with house money and that they could beat a double-digit seed and make the national championship game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there. If you're going up against UConn in the national title game, what's the spread going to be? 4 or 5 points, maybe?
Less.
6.
Less.
3
like
points?
2.5.
2.5, 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, again, it's not like you're playing with house money and that like everybody's going to think UConn's going to roll. They're not. It's going to be one of those kind of pick-em-ish type games. And to me, it's that close for Matt Painter. It's that close where you may never get there again because you're Purdue.
Yes.
You're Purdue. You're not. Look at his roster. It's not full of McDonald's All-Americans. They're not getting those dudes. What are they doing? They're evaluating. Nobody wanted Braden Smith. Nobody wanted Zach Edey, right? Nobody wanted those guys. They're evaluating, developing, and they've been able to retain.
Not nobody.
Are they good?
Not nobody.
Very few.
He went to IMG. He had an offer from Baylor. Like, not nobody. A lot of people wanted Zach Edey. No one wanted Zach Edey, 2-time National Player of the Year. Those are two very different things.
I'm just saying nobody really, he wasn't a top 100 player. Neither one were top 100
He wasn't
players.
the kind of guy that Jeff was going to pay attention. That's all he's saying.
Nobody paid attention to him.
Jeff is saying, I go to Peach Jam and I watch only top 50
if
players.
If there's anyone who has an eye for talent at the Peach Jam.
That's right.
It's
Bobby.
Will you be able to sit next to each other like this all week?
No, we're going to have to switch seats.
No.
We're absolutely going to have to switch seats.
Find out if they do after these messages, folks. We're just getting started. We're live from Huss Brewing Company on East Monroe Street in downtown Phoenix. Come visit us. Coming up, who's on college basketball's current coaching Mount Rushmore? I'm going to ask the fellas who their top 4 coaches are in college hoops. That's next. This is the Field of 68 live from the Final Four.
Haven't heard by now, we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using the BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the Final Four. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets on anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app and use that code FIELD to sign up today. By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. Here's how the app works. All of the podcasters and bloggers and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in Autograph. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or try to navigate the only safe for work spaces that are left on X, you just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I'm a UConn fan. I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets and signed memorabilia. Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
Welcome back to the Field of 68, live from the Final Four. We're at Huss Brewing Company on East Monroe Street in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Randolph Childress is here with a slick, beautiful hair. Rob Dauster is ready to go, fresh out the shower. Jeff Goodman is here as well with the new shirt.
No, not new. Not new. Slimming shirt. Yeah, slimming.
And I'm John Fanta. Guys, welcome
You might
back.
need to wear 3 of them, Jeff.
All right. Let's turn to coaching in college basketball here, because with Dan Hurley now on the cusp of potential back-to-back national championships, it brings up the question with the departures that we've had in this sport. Who's on the current college basketball coaching Mount Rushmore? We asked this question to our expert panelists earlier today, and now it's time to deliver them. We'll start with Randolph Childress. Yeah, you're first up here, RC. RC, you don't even have to pick all 4. You could just give us 1 or 2 and then build upon it.
I'm going to start with Bill Self to start.
Great start.
I don't think you can, I think he's probably at the top of everyone's list. So I'm going to go with Bill. Start with Bill.
Anybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree with Bill
I
Self?
think he's pretty
If you disagree with that, you're an idiot.
Right. You should be kicked off the show right now. You okay?
Please.
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
He's number 1 on my list.
Yeah, he's a consensus number 1. If not, he has to be number 2. All right, so he's number 1. Go ahead and give us number 2. Will he do it?
This one's easy.
No.
Will he do
This
it?
one's easy.
Is he
Who-
going to do
This
it?
one's easy.
You want me to say Dan?
Yeah.
No, that's not who I was going to go with.
Who?
I was going to go with Kelvin Sampson, number 2 on that list.
He was going to be
Wow.
number 3. But he's
2 on
2 or
that
3
list.
is fine. I don't argue.
Number 2 on the
I
list
think-
has got to be Kelvin to me.
Kelvin.
Yeah.
I go Kelvin. What he's done in 10 years with that Houston program. Now, again, number 3 for me is going to be Dan Hurley and what he's done to revitalize the UConn program, right? They were both complete shit when they took him over. They were.
I think it's really interesting to compare the two of them because Kelvin has this level of consistency that you see every single season. They're winning 28 games. They're winning 30 games. They're one of the toughest, most physical teams. It doesn't matter who the names are. You know exactly who they're going to be. You know exactly what they're going to be. You know exactly how they're going to play. Whereas Dan kind of has these slow builds, right? When he was at Rhode Island, it was not good the first couple of years. Then it was better. Then it was better. Then it was better. Then he's the best team in the A-10. And he's the 7th seed and wins the game in the tournament, right? Then he goes to UConn, and it's like 16 and 15 the first year. A couple tournaments. Then it doesn't feel like, a couple first-round exits. Then, boom, he hits it second year, third year. Sixth year, they're even better.
Who's the 4th
I'll
guy?
tell you this. Hold on.
That's
hold
the
on.
hard part.
I agree, but wait a
The
minute.
3 are easy,
The 3
right?
are easy.
We
Yes.
all agree with those 3 are 3 of the 4.
Just to give you this note on Kelvin Sampson.
Yep.
Over the last 3 years, and remember, this year was their first in the toughest conference in college basketball, the Big 12. Over the last 3 years, they've won no less than 32 games in each year. He's 97 and 15.
It's funny, too. In the preseason, I remember talking to him, and I asked him, I'm like, you excited to go in the Big 12? And you know what he said to me? He's like, hell no.
He said no?
He's like, I love being in the AAC. It's easy. I run this thing. But he kind of ran it this year in the Big 12.
Runs
and
the Big 12 now, too,
now he's going to
apparently.
have to figure it out again without Jamal Shedd next year, but he'll be just fine. And I just think, again, it's so different now. When we were asked this question when we started this network 3 years ago, it was easy, right? Like Kay, Jay Wright. Like, it was super easy. Izzo, Self. Those are probably your 4 for the most part.
Roy
Maybe we'll
Williams.
forget
Roy Williams.
I think when we started, Roy was probably in his last year. So, yeah.
Who's
Now
4?
Now it's changed. The guard has changed a little bit where you do have a Dan Hurley making his way into that. We didn't have Kelvin there 3 years ago.
No.
What he's done over these last 3 years, Self was there. Self was there. He hasn't moved. He's going to be there probably for the next 5-10 years. Who is that 4th guy? It is not easy. I'm looking at it right now, and we should probably write down our answers. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 4 different answers.
All right, but do it. Go ahead and type in your phone the answer.
Type in your phone the answer
and that
right
gives
now.
that gives me a chance to
Yep.
amp it up
Yep.
here. YouTube chat, give us your answers right now. I've got producers, Trevor, Dagan. We've got Jalen here. They're going to tell us who the YouTube chat is saying right now. YouTube chat, come on. This is like I feel like we're playing match game right now. I feel like we're playing match game. These guys are going to write down the answers, and then we're going to see. No Izzo is laughable from the YouTube chat. See, we'll debate that in a second.
I mean,
because
I disagree with that. I disagree.
You do?
I do. As of today, I would not put Tom Izzo on there
Why?
because I don't think he's adapted. Until he shows me he's willing to adapt and hit the portal, I'm not ready. Listen, Tom Izzo's a Hall of Famer. What he's done in his career is insane. But as of right now, with what he's done over the last few years, he probably doesn't deserve to be on there today. Now, again, if you're going Mount Rushmore, what your career accomplishments have been, that's a little different. I'm talking about right now who the 4 coaches are that would be at the top of the sport. I would not have Tom Izzo on there.
All right,
Am I
here we
crazy?
go. No, you're not. Here we
No.
go. The man with the most feel on the set's going to give us the
All
first,
right, all right, let's
first
see.
answer. Who do you got?
I'm going with Mark Few. Mark Few has reached a national title game in 2 of the last 7 NCAA tournaments. He's been to the last 9 Sweet 16s. He came one Nigel Williams-Goss sprained ankle away from winning a national title. He had an undefeated team heading into the national title game with All-Americans. He's consistently been able to build teams despite losing talent. And I think this year was as good of a coaching job as we've ever seen him do. He basically had 3 guards that were functional on the roster. He had 4 big guys. He had a 7-man rotation, 3 centers in that 7-man rotation, and he made it to the Sweet 16. Beat the hell out of your number 1 guy. Beat him by 30.
I'm torn. I'm torn between 2 guys. He just chopped up Izzo. And I told you guys, he's like my favorite. But if I can't have Izzo, I'm going to go with Tony Bennett. And I know y'all going to think I'm crazy. I think this is the least talented team he's had.
I mean, both of you are going with guys that honestly could retire to like tomorrow, and it wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either.
That the game has kind of Izzo, Few, and Tony Bennett are three guys that I think the game and the way it's going with NIL and the way it's going with the transfer portal, those guys have not adapted.
But that's what Mount Rushmore is supposed to be. It's like, what have you done? It's not projecting who's going to be the best moving forward. It's like, what have you done the last 10 years?
I'm saying more lately. I'm going even more lately because the game is changing.
I agree with that.
I will push back on the Tom Izzo because he had everybody returning. Now, if you want to knock the team, they had everybody returning.
Nobody's saying
what
Tom
were you
Izzo
going to
right
get
now.
in the portal?
If you're saying Tom
No,
Izzo,
he's defending. I think he's saying.
wait,
Tom
you're
Izzo
defending Izzo?
Yes.
Oh, how could you defend him? He just had one of the more underwhelming seasons we've ever seen.
Should have went to the portal.
He did.
Should have went to the portal, shouldn't he?
He doesn't.
Listen, I think y'all set me up as much as I was on talking about Michigan State all year long.
Put your
and I had to
sunglasses
defend
on.
myself.
Put your ACC glasses on.
I had people in Michigan calling me because y'all thought that
You picked an ACC coach.
I did. I think he is one of the best in the business.
Adapted.
Neither has Few. Well,
Who's your choice?
My choice is Scott Drew.
The YouTube chat says Scott Drew.
My
too.
choice is Scott Drew.
For me, it was Mark Few or Scott
Because
Drew.
listen,
It's
And
one
I
of those
agree
two.
with Scott Drew.
I
one of those two.
just think Scott Drew to me has adapted. He has kept
Tony
Baylor
Bennett is
at the highest
crazy.
level. He has won a national title in the last few years. As of today, again, if you're looking at it in
You
totality,
can say the same thing about Tony Bennett right now.
Oh my
are you
goodness!
kidding? No way.
Why?
Are you out of your mind?
Why?
No. Let him cook.
You can't cook. You can't
Let
cook
him cook.
with this one.
Rob.
You can't cook.
No.
Rob, don't say that
Did I
again.
do it right? No.
There you go.
Let him
There you
cook.
go.
Let him cook,
Yeah.
fellas. Let him
Well,
cook.
he can cook, but
He's
the
done-
dish
he's
is
done more.
mediocre.
He's done more or less. I'm going
You
with Tony
can
Bennett.
cook,
I'm
but
just-
the
I'm a
sandwich
Tony
ain't going to be very good. Go ahead.
I'm going with Tony Bennett. You can't listen. Honestly, you can't argue with any other. But
We can argue with Tony.
We already-
We can argue.
How many natties does Few have?
He should have one.
How many? I don't have.
He should have one.
I should have hair.
Shoulda,
How
woulda,
many-
I should have hair. Like shit.
We don't play the shoulda
I should
game.
I should have my
How many
hairline back up
times?
here.
How many
I should
times
have
has
hair.
How many times has Few gotten
I
dropped
don't-
in the first round of the tournament?
How many did he win?
Randolph, it's really hard for me to justify Virginia.
I'm not
after what they
asking
did
for
in
y'all
Dayton.
justification. I don't give a damn.
my
This is my
God.
opinion. I don't give a damn what y'all think.
Which program is harder to build, Baylor or Virginia?
When he took, okay, listen, I'm not
They
debating
have
that.
the same
I'm not
national
betting that.
titles. One is adapting, one is not. Right?
You're never going to change it. Like,
Adapted to
hold
what?
on. Can we just make something clear?
To the new college basketball.
The more we disagree, the more.
How about
the more
adapting
you're
his
gonna dig
offense?
in your heels.
How about adapting his offense?
Oh, wait, all right, here's a great question to spin it forward.
Cheers.
Here's a great question to spin it forward. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
there
you
you go,
moved to
there
the
you
hard
go.
alcohol with that argument. You moved to the hard
I ain't got no
stuff
comeback
with
for that one.
Hey, here's a great question to this point.
I ain't got no comeback for that.
So that's the current with all these hires being made. Now this spins it, with a new guy at Louisville who you like that hire. Call your shot.
Who's gonna be the guy?
3 years.
Question.
In 3 years, who's the new guy on the Mount Rushmore? 3 or 4 years. Who are we talking about saying, yeah, he's got it now. He's on Mount Rushmore.
I mean, it could be Nate Oates. Like
I like
he
that.
certainly has the personality, the system. It'll be interesting to see if he's at Alabama in 4 or 5 years. That'll be the big question, right? Like, does he leave? Can he get if something happens at Kansas? Let's say Bill Self says, "I'm tired of this shit."
I think he's the next guy, like you said, to your point. He's the
What if
next
What
guy.
if Bill Self goes to like the Spurs or something in the NBA? Because I actually do think Bill Self would be a good NBA head coach.
Hold on.
I don't know if he can get the opportunity.
We
at
fucked
this
all
point in
this
his
up.
career.
We
we
missed the
forget?
most obvious guy.
Who?
You gonna say Patino?
Yeah. How do we not
No.
put Patino on that
No.
list?
Again,
He is the literal GOAT.
Yeah,
I
but
get
it's
it.
He's the
different.
literal
I get
GOAT.
it, but he's got it like at St. John's. I don't know. Like he's in totality again. Self, Patino, Izzo. Like those are the Mount Rushmores of accomplishments. We're not talking accomplishments. We're talking more now. It's a little different with Rick. He's 70 years old. we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope he gets it going at the highest level. This year, maybe he should stop taking Ivy League transfers. That might be where I'd start if I was him.
So he's just going after Big East transfers now.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Absolutely. If I was him, everybody else is poaching within league. Go to it.
You want to know who it actually is going to be?
I got one.
You want to know who it actually is going to be?
Yeah, go ahead.
The next guy on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ed Cooley.
All right, Rob. I knew you were going to do that. Rob.
Let me live, Fanta!
I knew he was going to do that. I got to say, I think –
I thought he was going to come up with a serious answer.
no, it was not going to be that.
It wasn't going to be serious.
Come on. I think that there
Come on, that was funny.
it was funny. It was okay. Like, it was fun. I really do like –
Who do you like? Who's your guy? Who's your guy?
I think in 5 years, not 3 years. I'm going to give it 5, a little bit longer.
Okay. Who do you got?
I'm all in on this Pat Kelsey movement, guys.
Oh,
I'm all in.
It took 1 week.
Wait.
1 week.
No.
1 week.
That's not jumping
Holy
on a
crap.
limb.
Yeah. No, I just
That's
love the
not
hire.
jumping on a
I love the
limb,
hire.
no.
Wow.
I do. No,
It's just Fanta and Kelsey. Imagine them in the same room, locked up for 24 hours.
Yeah, he's
Only one of
he's
them
your
comes out.
personality.
glasses. We could swap glasses.
Yeah, he's
no,
got
I'm
the
calling.
dark
No,
black
I have
glasses.
those frames too. No, I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm
Are
buying it
you
after a
saying he
week.
copied Kelsey with his glasses?
No, he copied me. Here's the thing. I think that this was a great hire because Louisville needs a. Oh, wow.
There he is.
Yeah,
the
Connecticut-
architect. The architect.
I was told your
Athletic
plane wasn't in
Director
yet.
Dave Benedict just walked on set. Dave,
Can we
Dave,
get
do you
an
mind
update?
sitting? Do you mind sitting down with us here at the field?
Come on.
Randolph,
Come on,
Childress.
Let me get up.
All right, this is so folks. For those who are just joining us, we're welcoming
We need
on
an update.
UConn AD Dave Benedict,
this.
the athletic director. The Connecticut men's basketball team right now stuck back east because of plane issues. Dave, we've told the story that's been reported first by Matt Norlander. You're the AD. You're getting things in real time. We all find this pretty ridiculous, to say the least. What is happening right now with your men's basketball team?
Well, look, I mean, let's start with, we know travel's not, it's not easy and it's not an exact science. So
Here he goes with the professional stuff.
so, mistakes can happen, things happen. I think the challenge is in this kind of environment, this is the biggest game of the year for us. There's only 4 teams that you're worried about traveling. Is there not an opportunity to have a contingency plan here? So, right now there's no plane in Connecticut for us. We're being told that potentially we can fly out of Connecticut sometime after midnight. We don't have a confirmation there, but the plane that we're going to get is not going to be big enough to transfer our whole party.
Can you get a private plane? Are you allowed to? Are you allowed to get a private plane right now over there?
Well, I mean, when you say a private plane, there's not that many private planes that can transport the number of people that we're talking about. And, the issue is it's not about just getting the plane, but you got to have a crew. And that crew's got to have the ability to fly the 5 hours.
Get the players here. Even to get the players and the
that
staff,
obviously
like
that is the
20 people. Get them on a plane. Get them here.
I wish it was only 20 people.
Right,
What staffs are you talking about?
The main people.
Well,
we just need your lunatic head coach and the players. That's all we need.
Sports info.
Goodman, is he? I thought he covered basketball.
Sports info.
20
All
people.
the people.
No, but there's only 20
not good at math, Dave.
that are.
Oh, really? So you want
I'm
us to
saying-
split the team up?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm
well,
not splitting the players.
That's a
up.
great culture thing.
I'm not
Goodman.
splitting. I'm splitting. I'm
Just
saying
leave,
the players.
leave Andrew Hurley behind. He's
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's not that important.
No, you bring Andrew. You bring the walk-ons. But that's. and
How
the
are they
staff.
supposed to get to everything tomorrow? They have to be escorted all throughout the stadium.
No, I'm saying, can we get a plane there? I'll foot the bill.
Okay.
How much is
Yeah.
it going to cost,
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah.
How much? How much is
Get-
it? So
get-
I don't have to hear
Get
Danny
your
complain
black
tomorrow.
Amex
So-
out.
There you
We'll
go.
charge
Right.
that thing up. Look, I'm confident. I've been in touch with Danny Gavitt. I think he's trying to do everything they can. But, the reality is we're not going to have a team here until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, best case, and that's not going to be, there's going to be quite a few people left behind because the plane that they're talking about getting is going to have to take a fuel stop if we transport everybody, which is going to add another hour to an hour and a half, and that's just not acceptable.
No, it sucks. This all sucks, and this isn't the first time that we've heard of teams having travel issues, but this is
last year we showed up in Vegas to a hotel that, some rooms didn't have vanities, other rooms had vomit on the bed. We had to leave that hotel to go to another one. Our bus got broken into, kids' stuff got stolen on the bus. I mean, you can't make it up. But look, maybe this is what we need to make sure that we're focused.
I think so.
Are you setting this up? Was
none of
this
this
a
was
plan by
planned.
you
None of this
to make
was
sure
planned.
that your coach thinks that the NCAA is out to get him?
No, I think it's a conspiracy. Like
I told you. I tried to tell you it was.
He was right.
I tried to tell him it was a conspiracy.
the programs that are members of power conferences all seem to have gotten here without any problems.
Let me ask you a real
they're
question.
walking around.
Yeah.
Right?
Let me ask you a real question. Because
Are these not real questions?
They are. They are. But this one's a little bit more about what you saw in your head.
By the way,
coach.
I
Okay.
do love.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Let me preface this before you answer the question. I love that you did come here and sit down.
Yeah, not a lot.
unprompted. Just came here and sat down. A lot of ADs.
No, we got a bunch of
everything going
fans.
on,
I mean, we got look. Let's put it out there. It is what it is at this point in time. I'm sure Coach will
Good for
use
you.
this in an appropriate fashion. But it's not the best experience. I mean, this is supposed to be about a championship experience. None of this is a championship experience at this point in
No,
time.
not when there's players from other teams that we've seen walking around right now that are playing this week, and you guys haven't even left
Right.
Connecticut.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you this question: the first encounter or two with Dan Hurley that you had in your life, what were those like? What did you see in this guy?
Look at him smiling over there.
That was over 8 years, or no, it wasn't 8 years ago. That was over 6 years ago. Look, we met Dan and Andrea in their home, but I think there was a lot weighing on him. Obviously, he just finished his season, which they had a great year that year, but just got beat by Duke. He was contemplating staying at Rhode Island. There were other options for him, so. He wasn't necessarily his normal self because there was a lot of stuff going on, and we had a great conversation, and ultimately, things have worked out, and we're very happy that he chose to come to UConn. And just remember, we were still in the American Athletic Conference at that time, and the question came up during our conversation about the potential change of conferences, and I just said, hey, look, you can't make this decision based on me telling you what conference we're going to be in. And, I really respect and appreciate the fact that he came knowing that we could still be in the American because there were no commitments made at that point in time. So
you have a coach that is as demanding as any coach in the country. So I want to know, what is the craziest thing that he has asked you for? What is when the list of demands? What is?
You can't divulge
He
that.
just said he was happy I came here. You're making me want to leave right now. I'm not getting into that. No, I mean, look, Dan wants
not to get high.
Dan wants the same things every other coach wants. He wants, the support that he feels like is necessary to maintain a championship level program, and to say that he's asked for crazy things, look, he wants money so he can support his assistant coaches.
I was more getting into the unlimited supply of hand sanitizer.
The unlimited supply of what?
Hand sanitizer.
Oh, look, when he wears gloves on the practice court, that's just part of the shtick, and so I don't worry about that stuff. He gets what he needs. So whether it's hand sanitizer or latex gloves, it doesn't matter.
Hey, what was it like when you guys lost to New Mexico State in the first round? Do you remember having a conversation with him after that? Because he's told me and a lot of other people, like, that kind of changed his philosophy, right? From going from a coach that was all about toughness and defense and grinding out wins to, hey, you know what? We need some dudes in who can make shots and move the ball and score.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about Coach Hurley, during the evolution of his time at UConn is you didn't need to have that kind of conversation. walking back to the locker room after that game, we crossed paths at a certain point, not far from the locker room, but it was clear, I'm sure he was thinking about a million things as to why and what was next, but he didn't need to be counseled or told. He went to work quickly with his staff to figure out what they had to do to make sure that never happened again.
You have a men's team and a women's team in the Final Four, and I believe this is the 5th time that you've had both programs reach the Final Four in the same season. You just said you flew in here straight from Portland. How
amazing, by the way.
Yeah, which is really awesome. Store's basketball capital of the world. How hard is it to kind of balance the focus on, okay, we got these 2 different teams, I got to be at these 2 different sites, I want to show support for both these programs. It feels like in the most important part of the year, you can be stretched a little bit thin here.
Yeah, look, it's a good problem to have. And, fortunately, we've got a coach like Gino Auriemma who is wise beyond his years, and he doesn't get caught up in that stuff. He's been doing it for so long. He's seen more than all of us put together throughout his career. He really has an uncanny ability to focus on the most important thing at the time. And Gino is,
and that's probably
outside of
Clark right now, right?
Yeah, outside of being on the court, he's about as steady of an individual at the level that he's at that I've been around any of my stops in my 25-plus year career. Yeah, it's remarkable. And the game against USC the other night was, you could just feel the emotion after that game of how satisfying and pleased he was for that group of kids that they were able to accomplish that, because it wasn't like this stuff happened during the season. They dealt with this the entire year.
Coach Hurley said this last weekend in Boston. He's like, this is the perfect marriage because I'm wired a certain way, and Dave, as you well know, at UConn Husky AD on X, the Husky fan base is wired a certain way. We're in the ultimate what have you done for me lately world, and it feels like your fans are just constant because they want it so bad. How would you describe the intensity level of this program, what it takes to be here back-to-back years, and what it's like as the athletic director when you're getting tweets and posts and do we have tickets, do we have this, do we have that? It doesn't
the mascots
end.
I'm responsible for the dog. I don't. It's look, it's a good problem to have because the alternative is apathy, and nobody wants that. That's like the death knell of any program. And so I'd much rather have the intensity and interest level that we have. I think sometimes it's comical, and you got to keep it in perspective. And you guys deal with this because you're in the media, and I'm sure you guys get lots of different tweets that are various varieties, and
fans love me. What are you talking about?
The one thing that I've learned to do, John, is just ignore the stuff that's just irrational and try to respond to the people that are truly looking for information in the best way I possibly can. But look, the intense interest in our program is really important to us because we aren't in this so-called power conference dynamic, and you can get lost. Programs that are outside of that aren't necessarily getting that coverage, and so our fans almost demand that we're out there and in front of it. And so when you see what's happening on social media, the fact that we're followed and getting similar coverage or better coverage than all the programs in the country, it's a lot of that's being driven by our fan base.
Do you see, Dan Hurley, we just talked about the Mount Rushmore, and if you have to run, you let us know. We just talked about the Mount Rushmore of college basketball. You got about a minute and a half here. And we had Dan Hurley on there. It was Bill Self. We all agreed on Bill Self, Kelvin Sampson, Dan Hurley. Then we had a different fourth guy.
As far as current active coaches?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is incredible. How quickly it's flipped from 2 years ago where some people in stores were ready to run Dan Hurley out of town.
Yeah, which I think is
Insane.
preposterous, but
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. What do you think of that, his quick rise, and why? I guess why?
Well,
Why is he so great? Because we all know he is.
I don't think it's a quick rise, because I think it's about opportunity. And so it's clear that now that Dan has put himself in a position and has had the opportunity to be able to recruit the same level talent as some of the other people you mentioned, we see what the results are. And so, I think there's probably a lot of really good coaches out there, but when you aren't playing with the same level talent and you don't have the same kind of resources, I think there's probably a lot of other individuals that could be really successful in a big time way, but aren't in a situation that provides them that platform.
Dave, best of luck with
the
Huskies this week.
Any
and
quick
with your
update?
team
You want to
here.
look at your phone?
I'm gonna go see if I can get the hot take
plane.
right now.
Dave
Thanks, guys.
Benedict, he is responsible as much as anybody for this amazing success of UConn men's basketball. Dave, thank you so much, with the Huskies in men's and women's both in the Final Four. NC State also both teams in the Final Four. We'll talk more about this Final Four as we hit hour number 2 of our 3-hour premiere show of Final Four Week, live from Huss Brewing Company here on East Monroe Street in Phoenix. Hour 2 next. You're listening to the Field of 68.
Haven't heard by now, we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using the BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the Final Four. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets on anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app and use that code FIELD to sign up today. It's time to talk about Vaulted. Vaulted is an app that allows you to store your predictions now and forever. It also allows you to challenge your friends to prove that your takes are, in fact, smarter than theirs. But what makes Vaulted great is that it allows you to keep all the receipts that you need to prove that your friends are not as smart as they think they are. With that in mind, let's roll through the 5 worst Vaulted predictions that were made on the Field of 68 After Dark this season. On November 6th, Jeff Goodman predicted that St. Mary's would make it back to the Final Four. They lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. On November 29th, it was predicted that Arkansas would win the SEC. They finished 12th out of 14 teams. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. On December 13th, it was predicted that Michigan State would win the Big Ten. They finished in 6th place. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. On December 29th, it was predicted that Miami would return to the Final Four this season. They finished 14th out of 15 teams in the ACC. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. So download the Vaulted app, that's spelled VLTED, from the App Store now and start keeping all of those receipts. Nothing better in sports than tournament time, which is why I need to tell you guys about our partners over at Rhythm. If you're into sports betting, you need Rhythm, the place for data-backed props and picks. For those that are unfamiliar, Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, is the go-to mobile app for player props and game picks. Backed by AI predictive models, Rhythm helps you make smarter and faster betting decisions across all sports, but particularly college basketball. With Rhythm, you get data-backed picks for every single Division I game, every single day. Users get free picks daily with the ability to upgrade to unlimited access. If you want to increase your edge and win more bets, go to the link in the description and download Rhythm today. That's RITHMM, the place for data-backed props and picks.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the Field of 68, live from the Final Four. We are at Huss Brewing Company on East Monroe Street, one of 4 locations here from these owners who do an amazing job. There's 3 total Huss Brewing Companies, and they have another location. We have a bunch of great brews here. The Orange Blossom. We have Lopes Up. Show it off, Rob. Lopes Up. This is the official beer for Grand Canyon University. Lopes Lager. I love it. Huss Brewing, we appreciate them having us here.
Dagan is very
tonight.
upset that you just ruined the whole set design.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He
Here we
spent
go. Set
hours of his
perfectly
life
manicured.
making sure that the color coordination
I'm
was
sure
in the
he
right order.
I'm sure he did.
Do you know who is? Tell him who's Huss Brewing. Family.
Yeah. Huss Brewing is owned by Jeff Huss. Do you know who Jeff Huss's cousin is, Fanta?
Alan
Alan
Huss.
The High Point head coach.
I'm 1 for
All of
1.
a
Wow,
sudden,
good guess,
we
man.
got
How'd you
this
get that?
done, and all of a sudden I get a text from Alan Huss about 3 or 4 hours ago saying, "You're doing it at Huss Brewing. That's owned by my cousin Jeff." I said, "Come on, you're full of crap."
And he was
said,
right.
No.
So I'm 1 for 1 on the day. How would you describe Randolph Childress? What did he shoot in hour 1?
0 for 1. I mean, in that first hour,
Hey,
you couldn't have thrown up a bigger air ball than Randolph Childress.
when you shoot like me, I just shoot the first one for the hell of it. It doesn't matter if it goes in and out. I'm just getting warmed up, baby.
You and Terrence
I'm just getting warmed up, baby.
I didn't know you shot air
I
balls.
shot the first one for kicks.
Yeah.
It's a heat check the first time you touch the rock, huh?
Childress is drinking an ACC Manhattan all week, everyone.
That's right.
Hey, put some respect on it.
All right, let's take the coaching carousel for a spin here.
You didn't answer the question.
What question? Of who my
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it's Bill Self, it's Dan Hurley, it's Kelvin Sampson, and then for me, it's Scott Drew, because he broke through and won the title and has been consistently a top 10 team at Baylor. Now, and got a new arena built. That's the house that Scott Drew built.
That's right.
All right, I want to get to coaches.
I think you have to knock him down a peg or two because of the angle of the camera and the new arena that he built. Scott, I am blaming you for that. You got to fix that. I get headaches just watching
Hopefully we'll have him Friday. You can yell at him for it.
I will.
So let's get to the coaching carousel. The biggest storyline as we enter the week is USC, because Andy Enfield leaves for the SMU job. SMU going to the ACC, trying to get a noteworthy name. Obviously, Enfield off of a very disappointing season. Now pressure would have risen. Okay, he beats it, if you will, and he goes to SMU. USC is open. You have been reporting this, that Eric Musselman is the lead name for this. You've reported details on it, but for the new members of our audience, why is Eric Musselman potentially leaving Arkansas for USC?
You know, he's frustrated right now because the fan base is frustrated at him. Obviously, they didn't have a great year this year, but this is a guy who went to 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16 in consecutive years, who's taken this program from irrelevance to national relevance. He's done a hell of a job with it. But again, Muss hasn't endeared himself to a lot of the high school coaches in the area, some of the other people, his staff turnover. There's certain things that go along with the success of Muss, frankly. And a lot of times there's an expiration date.
That's okay, but if you run him off, or
be careful what you wish for.
You better be careful what you wish for. Because
they're going to get a big guy, Randolph. They're going to if they lose.
Getting a big guy doesn't mean the success that he had. 2 Elite Eights. I know this year was disappointing, but how many teams outside of UConn, outside of Danny Hurley, wouldn't trade?
Not many, but they had a bad year this year, and then a year ago, remember, they didn't have a great regular season that caught fire to get to the Sweet 16.
That's kind of what Muss does, is he struggles. Like his reputation heading into this season was, all right, we're okay in November, play like ass in December and January. Then in February, he figures out like what matchups work for him. His guys realize, okay, we're almost done with this. I can deal with what comes with being coached by Muss for X amount of, like 6 weeks. You get to the tournament, they start winning, they start taking advantage of matchups, and they make a run in the dance. But I think your point about the expiration date is really important to mention here, because like Muss is a guy that is going to
he'll grind on you.
Yeah, he will coach his players hard. Yeah. He will demand a lot of his staff, and it can be exhausting, I think is probably the way to say it, to deal with it. And I understand why that might be frustrating for the people that work around there. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
I think
another Scottsdale blonde.
It's a great point by you. If this tenure is ending at Arkansas, there's a couple of things to take away. Number one, it's not simply off of one bad season. It's because of, like you said, there's just
other
certain
things.
things
well,
wear on you.
Arkansas fans now, and again, you're talking about a segment of Arkansas fans. Not everybody. There's a lot of people that are saying, if Muss wants to be here, we'd love to have him back. But I think at this point, also, Danielle Sargent, his wife, they lived in L.A. I'm not sure how much Fayetteville is where they want to be long term. So right now, USC targeting Eric Musselman. She was a sportscaster for years, lived in L.A. Muss lived on the West Coast for a long period of time. So they might, quality of life may be part of it.
I have a hot take. I have a hot take.
Hold on one sec. I just want to finish with this.
Yeah.
To the sector of Arkansas fans who are done with him, you're stupid. Arkansas had not been to a Sweet 16 since 1996 before 2021. You went to 3 consecutive Sweet 16s and back-to-back Elite Eights, and now you want to do away with this guy?
But it depends who you get. Okay, if you get Chris Beard, are you going to be upset?
That's my thing.
Are you going to be upset if you get Chris Beard or Will Wade?
So look, that's my thing is that Arkansas.
No, I'm not
saying. So if you get the right guy who wants to
Nobody
be,
listens to you, Rob.
who wants to be at Arkansas, if you get the right guy who wants to be at Arkansas.
Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. I think Muss looking at USC as hard as he is looking at USC, to me would say he probably doesn't still want to be at Arkansas. And if he doesn't want to be there, I think that program, with the NIL setup that they got, with the program that they have, with the fan base that they have, with the money that they can raise, I think that you can go out and get a guy that is maybe not as good as Muss, but is going to be able to provide similar results. It's going to be able to get some of the same wins.
No. I can't let y'all do that. Y'all being too disrespectful to back-to-back Elite Eights.
Thank you, Randolph.
But it's not just
there
about
ain't many coaches in the country.
Years.
We act like that's just an easy thing to do. Like, all right, I'm going to go.
I'm not talking about just March, all right? I'm not saying, like, let's say they get Will Wade. I'm not saying that Will Wade is going to get to
March is what matters.
Sweet 16s. I know it does. But I'm saying he might be able to win an SEC regular season title. And I don't think that the drop-off from Muss to whoever you get is going to be as big as some people think. I don't think you're going back to
disrespectful, Rob. That's disrespectful.
I think it's disrespectful, too.
That's disrespectful
they
to
haven't
me.
been to a Sweet 16 since 1996.
That's disrespectful.
Last I checked, a certain coach.
Nolan Richardson ain't coming through that door.
A certain coach got a team in Lubbock, Texas, within a basket of winning the national title. Also got him to an Elite Eight in a separate year in Lubbock. Arkansas is the second best program, second best job in the SEC. Agreed?
No, hell no.
What's better than Arkansas in the SEC?
Basketball?
Kentucky, Tennessee.
Basketball.
Tennessee's better.
Tennessee's better.
No, not better. Arkansas is a better job.
Florida's better.
No way in hell.
Florida's better.
Hell is Florida better? No shot.
Keep going.
Like, I'll fight with you on Tennessee, and we can battle on that one.
Wait a minute. What about Texas?
What about Texas?
What about Texas?
Well, fine.
Fine, yeah.
Right, I was wrong.
Y'all got me.
Well, they're coming in.
They
I
come.
don't count
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Arkansas is a really good job. Texas Tech was a really hard job. I'm just saying, going from Muss to Chris Beard, if he wants to be at Arkansas, which I think he would, now, again, with Beard, you never know how long he'll want to stay either, but let's say he does.
Is it better than Auburn?
What? Oh, hell yeah. Come on.
Wow. So wait a minute.
Auburn was
So what the hell is where's Arkansas been?
Right.
Well, they had Mike
Where
Anderson.
have they been since
Mike Anderson.
Okay,
right.
That's Mike Anderson, who was at
pre
St.
and
John's.
Pre and post.
Pelfrey sucked.
Pretty
Mike
good.
Anderson
Pretty
sucked.
good blackjack player, Mike Anderson.
They weren't good.
Exactly, they weren't good. Nolan Richardson. I mean, what are they doing?
They fell off the map.
Right.
For 30 years?
25.
Then I want Wake Forest back in the discussion there. Wake Forest.
You got to wait a few more years.
Get back on the map. We
gotta wait a few
gotta
more.
get back on the map. 30 years.
Yeah.
But this is such
Duncan's
a unique,
coming back.
Here's the other thing about this.
You wouldn't trade right now if I said to you, you trade Muss and you got Chris Beard in, or Will Wade. that want to be in.
Like, it doesn't.
You wouldn't take
That's
that?
my
it's
thing.
Fine,
Is like
but
Muss
Muss is still better than those guys.
Yes,
No, I don't
but
think
here's
so.
the thing.
I don't believe that.
But
I don't believe that.
if Muss is interviewing at USC, which I think every one of us on this panel will agree is not as good of a job as Arkansas, if Muss does not want to be there, let him go.
That's what I was going to just ask
Say,
you. Where
let him
does
go.
US? This
We'll
is
go
a
hire
great
somebody that's good.
Randolph. I think this is I think this is such an interesting question. Where would you put USC in the jobs in the Big Ten?
I mean, it's not a great job because nobody gives a shit about USC basketball in LA. So obviously it shows that if Muss takes his job.
People give a shit about it outside of LA?
No, nowhere. I'm saying, like, they don't care, period.
Think about it.
Right. I mean, the last time they really cared, was like O.J. Mayo with Tim Floyd.
Did they actually care?
They did then. You know, it was interesting.
They were good.
I went out there for that. So
Can you speak to?
If I went out there, I felt like maybe they cared.
Can you speak to what you reported on the politics at play with this USC search?
Ooh, yeah.
So it's
Dive into that one, Goodman.
What?
Dive into
He
that
already
one.
has.
No, I already have. I mean, I got no
Let's-
problem diving
let's hear what-
into it.
let's hear what you got to say about this
late
one.
On the tweets.
Matt Kelly is working. He's an agent. He's a negotiator. He's a little bit of everything, a lot of everything. He is the point man on the search right now at USC, helping out Jen Cohen. He also kind of does her contracts. He's also an agent for a bunch of coaches. Eric Musselman does not have an agent right now. So there's some thought that could he be incentivized to hire Eric Musselman to eventually potentially get him as a client, or at least get some money out of him for doing the contract. Who knows? There's just a lot going on right now behind the scenes with that one that could have ulterior motives involved. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I just think I'm with you on this one. And I feel really validated that you're the voice of reason here, because I tried with you earlier.
Tell them, Fanta.
It failed. You can say it.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
RC's 0 for 1 so far in the show.
I'm heating up.
Yeah, 1 for 2. 1 for 2, which ain't bad.
Ain't
2
but 50%,
2 out of 3,
baby.
Meatloaf said really
there you
was
go.
bad. I just laughed
Did
at
you ever shoot 50% from the field in your career?
46. 47.
Close. All right. Okay.
What I'm laughing at is that he said to you, dive in on the politics, dive in.
Yeah.
I think you tweeted this
I did.
yesterday or the day.
I've said it. I've tweeted it. I
You know,
wrote it in the
who
daily.
did Charleston hire?
Yeah.
Who did Charleston hire?
Yeah. Do you know who Charleston hired yet? Did you find that out yet?
No, who was it? I have a question. Speaking of the Charleston hire,
Yes.
we just heard of him stumping for Chris Beard to Arkansas.
Right.
Or we'll wait. Or we'll wait.
If Goodman had to choose between Chris Beard and Chris Mack, where is he going? Is this like choosing between your favorite kids?
Charleston. I'm going to Charleston.
So you're going to Mac.
Come on. right. I mean, I'm certainly not going to Fayetteville over Charleston.
Do you believe that Arkansas would I mean, I know that they would, but do you believe that it's a foregone conclusion on Beard?
No. But I think he'd be heavily involved if this thing gets done with Musselman at USC. And
then who would take that job?
yeah, I mean here's the crazy part of the Ole Miss situation is Beard just signed an extension. Now, if you were Keith Carter, the AD, I'm going to get myself into trouble with so many of these things I've said on the show already, but I don't care.
You got yourself in trouble? I'm shocked.
Of something you said?
If I were Ole Miss, if I were the Ole Miss AD, if you're the Ole Miss AD and you hire Chris Beard a year ago, and he's got nothing else going on because nobody else is hiring him at the high major level, aren't you going to make the buyout like $10 million for him to leave?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know if I got to fire him, and I wanted to be cheap.
No, you can do that. I'm saying if he leaves, it's $10 million. You have all the leverage. You can write the contract any way you want. The buyout wasn't very high. It's still not very high right now. So he could walk easily if he wants to, is what I'm saying.
All right, let's continue to spin on the carousel. What's your favorite hire of the cycle? Your favorite hire?
I got to look at them all.
Okay.
Let me scan them.
Let me ask you
these
this.
guys go.
Dusty May at Michigan, Pat Kelsey at Louisville. You can buy stock of one of the two.
I think I'm probably going Dusty, but I think that you'll see the most immediate improvement out of Pat Kelsey.
Okay, explain.
Because I think that the jump that Louisville can make,
he'll win more than 6 games.
Yeah, to competency will be easier for him to do than it is for Michigan. It feels like that one's in for a little bit more of a longer rebuild. But I do think that there is reason to buy into the idea that Dusty can really get things rolling at Michigan. I don't know. I see, the thing is, I like both of those hires. I don't know if you can sit here and just pencil in like they're going to be at multiple Final Fours and multiple Big Ten/ACC championships.
Just ask who you put more stock in. Dusty May at Michigan or
I think
Pat
I'd probably
Kelsey
go.
Louisville?
I think
who
you go Dusty
hire on?
long term.
Kelsey. I just think he fits what Louisville needs so much.
It's
RC and I were talking about this. RC, go ahead, take it.
No. I think it's – you're talking about Louisville coming off an introverted head coach. They needed energy boost in that program, and Pat's going to give them that. And he's a hell of a coach. But he's going to give them all the energy they need. They're not going to have to fight him to be involved in the community, to be involved with his players, to push out content. Like, he's going to wake up every day just –
rearing to go.
Yeah, just pedal to the metal, just going full blast. That's who he is. That's what he knows. I think that's what that program needed more, because Michigan has had success recently. Say what we want about Juwan. Outside the outside stuff, he's had success at Michigan. So they're not so far removed from – we think of Louisville, that Kenny Payne run was just tough.
It was.
That was tough. That was tough on everybody.
It was.
Look at what Kels has already done. I mean, got Terrence Edwards today.
Big time get.
Great get, right? JMU. Nobody's a
Smith.
bigger fan of JMU than this dude.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I was actually –
before
I said this to
everybody
both
else.
of you guys. I was shocked that they went with Kelsey because of the connection with Chris Mack.
You kept saying that.
I was just wondering. Obviously, it wasn't in their mind, but I'm thinking with their, they've worked together. They're,
briefly, but yeah, they're very different personalities.
Oh no, they're not similar at all.
Right. I
but
think that's and it'd been long enough that they worked together ago. It wasn't like it just happened. It wasn't like, they were just at Xavier together last year or the year before. It had been long enough that I think Josh Hurd and Josh Hurd, man, I give him credit. Like,
he got lucky.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. He got let's say what it is. He got lucky.
Yeah, because again, I actually think Pat Kelsey's better for that program than Dusty May.
That's my point. I don't argue that.
It's the right hire.
I think I said that. I think it's the right hire.
Yeah.
I just think he's fortunate that he was able. Sometimes it just fell into his lap almost, and he was fortunate enough. Had Pat moved on, I think Louisville was in a world of hurt of who they would have hired. I think and I've said this. I said all the guys. He wasn't high on their list. I think I joked that.
You saying they would have been in trouble if Pat said no?
No, if Pat had moved on early and got one of these other jobs earlier and wasn't able to, which is possible, and he wasn't available to take over Louisville, I think there's a lot. I think they're in trouble because they would have had to settle on a guy, and technically they settled for him. And I think he watched the show because his press conference was literally what we had said the night before on Field of 68, it felt like. But no, I mean, everything from his wife, everything else. Like Pat, I said he's going to crush it. He wasn't the first guy, but he was the right guy.
I think when you look at the hiring scope, the one that I do like is the guy who inherited nothing and worked wonders in the Mountain West, and I think now can go to a program that greatly. Danny Sprinkle to Washington makes a lot of sense.
Love it.
Do you agree?
Love it. And he's got NIL.
I'm shooting 2 for 2.
He's got NIL. Yeah, you're way ahead of both of these. I mean, Randolph's back.
What
at
did I
50%.
do?
This dude, I don't know where he's at. I'll give him like 33%.
Why Sprinkle? Do you think Sprinkle will win
he's
at
a West
Washington?
Coast guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a West Coast guy, first of all, so he has grinded it for years. And obviously what he was able to do last year, can he bring Greg Osterbohr with him again? Why not? Right? Why not? You run him from Montana State, State, bring him to Washington. You got NIL. That's what Greg Osterbohr, I'm sure, wants at this point because he didn't get really much last year in Logan, Utah. I like Sprinkle. I've been around him enough. I think, again, here's the deal. Mike Hopkins, we all thought he would hit it out of the ballpark.
No.
And I think he didn't because,
no,
honestly,
we didn't.
No, I know. Didn't you think he'd hit it out of the ballpark? You didn't?
No.
Really? Because he came from
either.
Syracuse?
He doesn't fit.
I didn't see the
West
fit.
Coast guy, though, like an LA guy, I thought it could work. And he got McDaniels and Isaiah Stewart pretty quickly, and it kind of went downhill. Here's the thing with Hop. He had some health issues, number one, and I think coming out of Syracuse, a lot of those dudes don't have that same grind.
That's rough.
That Sprinkle does. Sprinkle has come up from Big West assistant coach. Like, he's had to grind it.
Let's talk it through. Washington's going where next year?
The Big Ten.
Big
By
Ten.
the way,
And they're
going to
do what in the Big Ten next year?
Tough place to play.
What do you mean they're going to do?
Meaning, like, that's part of it now. If we talk about Sprinkle and everything, they're not in the Pac-12 anymore.
Yeah.
So for the travel and then the conference.
If he's got the NIL hot pad and then some, which everybody kind of – now, again, maybe some guys have pulled out of giving money.
We're still talking about this league. We're talking about Purdue, Illinois.
I'd rather be in the Big Ten than the Big 12.
Yeah.
Of course.
And remember, that
Or the
fan
SEC.
base is good. They're underrated. When Michigan comes to their building, when Ohio State, Michigan State, Washington fans, they have a real fan base. They just have been they've disappeared
mediocre.
because they've been bad. Sprinkle will get
It's
that place
Washington,
going again.
man.
It's a tough place to play.
Of course it is. Nobody wants to go there.
They call it
I know.
Washington. Don't they call it Washington?
Washington. I don't even get.
You think Kevin Willard wants to hop on a plane from College Park to play out at Washington?
Nobody does.
He may not even go. He may just.
What do you mean, just like not go to the game?
Yeah, he may just say, forget it. I'm not coaching this one. My back hurts.
I know how much you dislike the conference realignment, so I'm not even. I mean, it's going to be so weird seeing.
That's what I'm saying. When you asked the question earlier in the show,
yes,
what does the NCAA have to address? You know, what's the biggest problem right now with college sports, college basketball in particular? It's hard to pick one.
Yes.
It is hard. You got.
That's
listen,
why I said a topic
what's
of the day.
behind door
That's
number
why
A?
I asked it.
Topic
Door
of the day.
number B, door number C, door number. There's like 4 doors. that you
Trevor
can
Valise
choose
said
from.
door number B.
Door number 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't freaking
Now,
know.
wait. Actually, let's get our producers involved for a moment. The YouTube channel like to hear this because we're about to hit a break here. We got 3 minutes. So give me the breakdown here in Phoenix of who selected the living situation here. What our
They haven't
what
even
our
seen.
company is doing.
Trevor and Dagan haven't even seen their living quarters yet, but what they don't understand is that they're sharing a room with twin little kitty bunk beds.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Well, here's what happened is that they told us that we were getting a house that had 8 bedrooms in it, right?
Who's
and what
they?
happens is Dagan Hughes, Trevor Valise. They told us we were getting a house with 8 bedrooms, and it's a house with 6 bedrooms.
Oh, that
He's
was
got a
wrong.
bedroom. I got a bedroom. Randolph got a bedroom. John Henson got a
No.
bedroom.
I got
Mike
a bone
Miller's
to
got a
pick.
bedroom. These two are going to have to. They're going to sleep on bunk beds.
Yeah.
And here's the
question
bed. There's 4 bunk beds in a room, so you guys can like push them together, and you both can have a double
Hey,
bed.
I'll
It's just
take
gonna be
the
a
bunk
double
bed. I'm sleeping on the floor.
It kind of is. It's a bed on the
Question
floor.
is, how
It's
many
a low-
people?
It is. It's a bed on the floor.
It's
No,
a-
we're not lying about that one.
It's the
Hey,
lowest
you're
bed
gonna have
I've
to
ever
literally
seen in my
come
life.
and pull me up out of the bed. I'm gonna literally have to text you at 3 in the. So at 3 in the
she's
morning
far
when I
back.
gotta take a pee, I'm gonna have to text you. And I'm gonna sit
shit.
there and
I'm
be
the
like,
one
"Hey man,
closest
you gotta."
to him. I'm the one the next
You're gonna have
room.
to literally
She'll be
lift
yelling
me.
for
I
me.
promise you, I'm 2 feet off the floor.
Things I didn't expect to discuss.
I'm
Randolph
just
Childress
telling
uses
you
the
the truth.
bathroom in the middle of
Hey,
the night.
hey, I got a 3 a.m. clock. What do you want me to say? Hey, shit. I'm not the only one. Go
No,
ahead.
you're not. I just wanted to make sure that everybody makes it back to the
I'm there
house.
with you.
Yeah, okay. Well, the bathroom will be filled up in the 3 a.m. hour.
Hey.
Will Rob be home by
My eyes won't be open, so don't. You better be careful.
Still be
You'll
out.
be home?
No, I'm gonna get some sleep tonight.
Yeah. You're in.
I feel great.
Yeah, we
do.
know. You
Tired.
slept the whole flight. You told
Yeah,
us.
some of us can sleep on planes. It was great.
I can. You
I
can?
can't. No,
No.
not
What were
alone.
you doing on the plane?
No, look, here's
Listen
you want
to
to.
music. As you get older, I used to work every flight, and now as you get older, you throw in the headphones and you just listen to music.
Work on a flight.
What kind of music do you listen to?
A little bit of everything. Some Eminem, some U2, a little bit of everything.
Ah.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
He said Eminem and U2. He said Eminem and U2. That was the most predictable thing in the world is that Jeff Goodman listens to Eminem and U2. Like, everyone saw that coming.
No,
You know,
I did not.
Is your
see that
favorite?
coming.
Is your favorite? No, I got.
I respect it.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question.
Yeah, I do.
Fanta, I
It's
got a
great
question.
music.
I'm not even looking at it.
Do you think Goodman's favorite U2 album is the one where they automatically uploaded it on everybody's phone? That's his
To the
favorite.
Apple iTunes.
That's
Is
why
that
you
true?
That's why you listen to U2.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
his
didn't
favorite
even know
U2
that.
album.
It's a weird
How's
automated
that
thing
cherry?
with the iPhones. What did you listen to before a game?
Always slow music. My mind was always racing, so I listen to slow music, just kind of slow things down. Always.
Like what?
Some R&B stuff. Anything.
Like
Anybody R&B. Just constant R&B. Always. Even when I play.
Keith
Okay.
Sweat?
Nah, I ain't begged that low.
No go for you?
No. I ain't need to turn up. I was always for games. I needed to come down. I didn't need to be turned up.
All right. No, I got a real question. Give me your favorite go band.
Wrestlers. Oh, that's easy.
Who?
You wouldn't know. Don't worry
they
about
don't know anything about go-go.
Yeah, no. Hey, you guys didn't even know. I know you had no idea when I sent the video initially. I know you guys were like, what the hell is he doing?
Couldn't hear it.
Yeah,
that was why.
I know you did.
But we saw it, and it was epic.
Right.
If you haven't seen Randolph Childress' ACC tribute, you got to check it out. Hey,
I wonder if Dave Benedict is over there. I wonder, does he have any flight, pilot experience? Can we send Benedict to maybe fly the plane back? He looks like he'd be a hell of a pilot.
In the pilot gear with the
Let's get him in it.
Could Dan Hurley pilot a plane?
I texted him already. I said, come on, man. Like, you coach a team, you can't.
They got to be tomorrow. It's got to be tomorrow.
I will say this is where
I don't know why I would not come tonight
with the yoga and some of the. He's going to need that
doing
tonight.
that right now?
He needs it right now.
I'll tell you, he needs to listen to some of Randolph's R&B right now to relax. I can promise you that.
He need a drink. He need a drink.
Imagine what the guys on the plane are going through right now.
Oh,
They're waiting. Well, everyone's
in.
Well, they're sitting there waiting together, and he's just. I guarantee he's just raging right now,
Pacing up and
Not down.
Good.
Right?
If I'm Donovan Klingon, I'm putting the headphones on and I'm
listen,
at the window.
Let me know.
I'm serious when I say
let me know when we're leaving.
If I'm Hurley, I'm saying we're leaving in the morning and screw all that stuff we got
so
planned
you
tomorrow.
miss the media.
I don't care.
You'd be giving honestly.
You can't get fined.
You'd be giving it back to the NCAA.
And you can't get fined for it.
No, the reason I say it is because if you're talking about players, if you're talking about my players, let's assume where Klingon, Tristan Newton, we're the players, and we can't sleep on flights. Let's assume that even if it's a bumpy ride, it's turbulence. You want to fly through the middle of the night and then land and then say, "Oh, go in your room, take a nap, and then get up and we're gonna practice, do everything else." Or would you say, you know what, we're going to sleep here, let's get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, whatever, and then we fly here. Whatever I missed during that time, I missed.
His media availability isn't until 3, 4. Like, he's got the last one anyway. Right. So just take like a 7 a.m.
But I would just blow it off. You got 2 days of it anyway.
I wouldn't care. I would say sleep in whatever time you set that you feel comfortable enough for your guys to rest. Yes. I would set that. We get up, go right to the airport, and then we fly. Let that be the casual time. Hey. If you fly in the middle, that's like taking a red eye. And then saying, and then that's taking a red eye. So if we would leave here and fly back east and take a red eye and then have to get up and go to work,
you know what
get the hell out of here. Ain't none of us doing that.
You know what the press wants? You know what everyone's going to write on tomorrow? That press conference when they arrive. The story's written. Because whatever Hurley says is going to be gold for an article. Whatever he says is good. I know you don't want to hear it.
If he makes it there.
We got a break. Hey, up next, we're going to talk Zach Edey and his legacy and how you define it. And we're also, I'm going to tee up these 3 deeper into the show. We're going to hold a Final Four draft. They're going to be on the clock. They're going to pick a player. At the end of it, you're going to decide which team you would take. This is the Field of 68 live from the Final Four from Huss Brewing Company. Stop and see us at East Monroe Street.
Haven't heard by now, we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using the BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the Final Four. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets on anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app and use that code FIELD to sign up today. By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. Here's how the app works. All of the podcasters and bloggers and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in Autograph. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or try to navigate the only safe for work spaces that are left on X, you just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I'm a UConn fan. I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets and signed memorabilia. Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
Welcome back to the Field of 68, live from the Final Four. We are at Huss Brewing Company on East Monroe Street in downtown Phoenix. Drinks on Jeff Goodman. Drinks on Rob Dauster.
Drinks,
maybe.
flights.
Yeah, flights. Randolph Childress is here, and I'm John Fanta. And, folks, we're so happy to be with you. If you can't make it today, we're back tomorrow right here from 4 to 7. We're back Friday from 4 to 7, and we're back Sunday here. We've got Saturday pre and post back towards State Farm Stadium. So, guys, let's get into it here because we have not done the full deep dive on the player who everybody was talking about on Easter Sunday, Zach Edey, and the player that we've talked about the last 2 years in college basketball. 40 points and 16 rebounds in an Elite Eight game. We've only seen that in college basketball twice since 1968, and he is the first player since Oscar Robertson in 1960 to lead Division I in scoring and make the Final Four. Robbie Hummel said yesterday that he just can't believe some of the discourse around Edey. What have you made? You've covered college basketball a long time.
I wasn't around for Oscar, just so you know. I was not around
No,
for
you
Oscar.
were not. But what have
They
you
were
made,
in the same high school class.
what have you made of this 2-year run, Jeff? And, you know, the human side of it is you see all these people have takes about fouls and whatnot. How would you break that down and what he has meant to the sport of college basketball here and what it means for him to be in a Final Four?
You know, I think part of the problem is the game has changed so much now that years ago, okay, Zach Edey, if you put him 10, 15 years ago, like Jahlil Okafor. People loved him. People love Jahlil Okafor, but the game has changed now where a lot of people don't want to see that plotting big guy. Well, he's not as plotting as he was 2 years ago. He's gotten a lot better, gotten a lot more agile, been able to defend at a higher level, right? And I think, again, it's just one of those things where, like, they don't want to see somebody getting the ball thrown into in the post and shooting 22 free throws. A lot of people don't want to see that type of game played. We respect it because we've seen his progression, and we understand, like, okay, this is a different way of playing the game, but Matt Painter, give him credit. He's been able to take advantage of the bigs. He's done it for years, and now he's done it with a guy who's gotten better and better and better. So it's hard because, again, I get it. I'd rather watch a game that's up and down. I'd rather watch that. Guys chucking threes. I also have a lot of respect for Zach Edey and what he's been able to accomplish.
That's the thing that I don't get, right? Like, you don't have to love Zach Edey. You don't have to sit here and say, oh, he's my favorite basketball player. Like, whatever, some people like vanilla ice cream. Some people like chocolate ice cream. Some people like the orange blossom mandarin wheat beer. Some people like the Grand Canyon Lopes Lager, right? Everybody's got a different preference. So you don't have to love watching them play.
Some people like Tony Bennett. Others like Scott Drew.
That's right.
Some people got taste, some don't.
That's true, too. What I don't understand is, like, the amount of disrespect that he gets. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the level of that disrespect. The idea that this whole he's just big narrative. Do you know how many people that are 7 foot that suck at basketball that there are? There are a lot of them. You probably coached a lot of them, Randolph. You probably played with a lot of them, too. And the idea that you can't – the idea that you're going to hate on a guy that has developed into being the most dominant big guy that we've seen in a generation, right? Probably since Shaquille O'Neal at the college level. What he's done over the course of the last 2 years, to say that he's just big or he's unfairly officiated or whatever it is, like, come on, man. Like, what this guy's developed into when he didn't play basketball until he was 15 years old, right? He didn't play basketball until halfway through his high school career. When he was I know how everyone's like, he was at IMG. Well, he was on their B team. He wasn't on the same team as like Armando Bacot and those guys. He was on the B team, right? And he still found a way to develop himself into this player through grit and through hard work and through determination and through hours in the gym and through reps and reps and reps and reps and through coachability and through his competitiveness. And he is the kind of guy that I want to celebrate at the college level, right? Like, to the point where in 10 years, we want him in Tyler Hansborough's seat. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of player that he is. He's a generational talent at the college level. He is one of the best. He's probably the best big guy that we're going to see in a very, very long time. And I just don't get the level of disrespect. Everyone hates greatness, right? Everyone is going to put everyone loves you. Then you reach a certain level, you stay there at a certain time, and everyone's going to start hating. Right?
Let's call it what it is. The only people that's upset with him are the teams that he's beating. That's really what it is.
No, but fans, I think there's
it's not more than fans that. Fans will say that because it's not sexy. He's not flashy. He's not sexy. He's a throwback guy. But if you're a fan of maximizing your potential and hard work, then you're a fan of this kid. You don't have to like him. He ain't pretty. He's effective as hell. I always say this is one thing when you're watching kids or you're watching basketball. Do you know what you are, and are you maximizing what you are? And he does that, and he has done that as well as anybody in recent memory, and it's why he will put himself – he's the least talented guy of the talent for his accomplishments of where he's going to put himself in that category. You start ranking the big guys and player of the year and all this, he's not as talented as the Ralph Sampsons and some of these other guys. He's nowhere near the talent-wise of these guys, but he's put himself in these conversations because of that, and you should be a fan of that. And, again, it isn't pretty. He's a physical guy. Thank you. He's a physical guy. His style isn't he beats your guys up. I know we're in a time of gambling and everything else that goes on, but the guy's is just a dominant guy, and we should appreciate him.
Do you think he can be a pro?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a good backup. He'll be a good backup, I think, in the NBA for 10 years.
No.
You don't? You don't think he'll be a good backup in the NBA for 10 years?
Wow, you're totally out.
Really?
Why?
The way the game has gone, you don't think he can be a backup in the NBA?
I think for the right team. I don't know if his effectiveness on the defensive end of the floor will be the same in the NBA as it is in college.
So you think Donovan Clingan, who can't really score as well as Edey, but is better defensively, moves better, do you think he would be – if you're an NBA GM, who are you betting on?
I'm not drafting either offensively. My biggest – I say this. Let me say this.
Have you looked at the draft? Have you looked at the draft?
No. My biggest concern – with Edey is, let me rephrase that. Could he be an effective NBA backup big man? He could. Let me say that. He would be. I think it'll have to change because he's not going to be the ball. They're not pounding the ball into him.
No, great.
His style is what I'm saying. And you got to realize, can he make the adjustment? Because he's not a shot blocker. He's a positional guy. But he's going on a level where there's elite athletes. Guys will be able to challenge him at the rim. Does he have the lateral quickness to play in that?
He has the know-how. He has an elite feel for things defensively.
He does, but there's a difference in the level of guard play that he's going to be playing against and skill set of those guards coming downhill, let alone the bigs.
You seem to push back on this.
What's your Randolph's point is 100% correct. Like, at the college level right now, he can protect the rim just by being the size.
Just standing there. He doesn't even block
way.
shots there, but yes.
But it's not going to work like that in the NBA
no.
because the NBA guards, pretty much every single one of them can jump over him and dunk it, right?
That and just finish. They're craftier at finishing.
Yes. So I understand what you're saying there. But I mean, look, I push back against the idea that this guy can't find a job on an NBA bench for the next decade. Like, to me, look at what Boban's doing, right?
Look at who?
Boban Marinovic, whatever his name is. I think that if you look at his I
thought he was an actor.
He is. Zach Edey can act too.
But the guy that played in John Wick?
Yes.
He got like cheesy commercials, man. He's like,
yeah.
He and Tobias.
Yeah.
Killing it.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
I know him from that. I don't know him from basketball.
Well, all I'm saying is that this idea that Zach Edey can't find a job in the NBA for a decade, I think he absolutely
can. A decade?
Yes. So maybe not a decade. But find a job in the NBA for a long,
hard.
extended career, not 1 or 2 years.
See, that's all I'm putting. I'm not pushing back on that he'll get the opportunity. I'm pushing back on the assumption that he's going to have a decade of career. Like, that's like, look at the NBA and what team plays with a guy like that.
He's probably, 23 years old now? So
yeah, like what guy?
All right, I'll give you that.
What team? Give me a guy that looks like that, and give me a team that plays like that.
You said he's an actor.
He is an actor.
I'm not saying that you're going to build the entire team around Zach. I'm not saying he's the focal point of a franchise. I'm saying.
But you got to have a similar style for him to play in. You just can't say plug him into the Golden State Warriors and he's going to play with Draymond and go back. Like, there has to be a style that fits.
For sure.
You're saying don't confuse a bad draft class with whether or not a guy makes it in the NBA.
That's all I am. Because a lot of these guys that we're talking about, that's a topic of conversation for another day, because so many of these guys, in my opinion, need to take their ass back to school.
You love this draft class. You love.
Stop it. Atrocious.
Stop it.
It's really
Some of you need to go back to school.
Is it all time?
They're getting bad information.
I mean, I've talked to several NBA execs that say they've never seen a draft class this bad. And again, you're trying to figure out, like, who of the college players are going to go in the top 10 or 15. It's hard to come up with names. Really hard.
How do you envision, okay, because we've talked about this, and we're live, by the way, at Huss Brewing Company. The lights just came on here as we hit 5:45 local time. The lights work. Everything's been working. Our producers came ready in Phoenix. They're ready to go. Everybody's talking about they dream of Edey versus Klingon. What do you envision that matchup being like?
I don't know. That's why we want to see it, right? I mean, I don't think any of us know how that's going to go. Does one of them get the other in foul trouble? It would be more, I think, more apt that Edey gets Klingon in foul trouble, right? I mean, Klingon's not a guy that you're probably going to throw the ball into.
Edey gets everybody.
That's
in
what I'm
foul
saying.
trouble.
Like, Klingon's not offensive-minded.
That's what he does.
What will Coach Hurley's reaction to that be?
I mean, I feel bad for the officials.
I mean, that's 90% of the reason that I think we want to see that game is that so we can see the
Hurley cam.
Dance react. Yeah, a Hurley cam when they play.
That? Can we just
so we can get the reaction for every foul?
Are we allowed to do that? Can we put a camera on Hurley?
Well, you're not.
Well, you said that we couldn't get Cam Spencer and Coleman Hawkins mic'd up, so we probably can. You thought that was a horrible idea.
I know you couldn't. That's illegal.
That
but like, could you probably illegal too? Probably CBS would be suing our asses.
Who do you think? Like, if Edey faces Klingon, what do you think of that matchup?
Listen, there's a difference between the two because Edey is the number one option. He's going to touch it early and often. You just can't. I always can say it like this. It's like trash talking. You never trash talk a guy that got the green light to touch it every time down the floor. You never trash talk that guy. And this is a matchup where you're never going to outproduce Zach Edey because out of 5 possessions, 4 of them, they're touching it. He's touching it.
Now, I love this follow-up question for you because you are our ACC expert. And this is on the minds of a lot of people. This is the first time in Final Four history that we have 3 players at least 275 pounds. Klingon, Burns, and Edey. Yeah. So Burns versus Edey. Can DJ Burns give Zach Edey some issues?
No. This is why I don't think that we're going to see NC State advance, and why
Can DJ
I think
Burns
this
give
is a really
Zach Edey any issues?
I don't think he can.
Yes, he can.
Oh!
Yes, he can. Because Klingen and Edey is up here. I told you he's the bubble wrap, man. We got to get him in the bubble. Like listen, he plays. Both of them guys are similar in the sense they play off a field. He wants to get into his body, and the reason I say is that because he's going to get into his body and he gets angles. See, he's going to take up space, and I'm not saying he's going to outplay him because he's not. But can he get him in foul trouble?
So here's my concern. I don't think he does because Edey doesn't get in foul trouble. But my concern is that when you have DJ Burns, the way that correct me if I'm wrong here, the way that North Carolina State wants to operate is they kind of want to have the ball into DJ Burns and force you to make a decision. You either guard him one-on-one and he wins that matchup, or you got to send two.
Yep.
You're not sending two with Zach Edey down.
You're
there.
not.
And I don't think that he can get the best of that matchup. I just don't.
I don't disagree with you, but he's going to have to win some matchups when I say footwork is vital. And I'm just saying when you lean, it's leaning on you in drop stepping. I don't care how big you are. When I drop step, I got an angle. I'm just saying that's just a chance that he has. He's not going to win the matchup because he's not going to get the touches. Can he pull him away? When he puts him in ball screens, because the key to it is that we're saying his effectiveness is going to be when I do my dribble handoffs, how are you guarding it? When I give it to DJ Hearns and DJ Horn, he comes off is he's making that pull up because Zach Edey's sitting in the paint. So now if he's making enough of those, the guards are making enough of those, now does that mean Zach Edey's got to come out? So it's not the same. The way they attack you are not the same.
My other concern is what Burns is going to do on the defensive end. Because if you go back and watch the Tennessee game, like the last 10 possessions, all they did was just put Edey in those Spain ball screens. And I don't think that I think we're going to lose DJ Burns there.
Well, Burns has been a liability for forever defensively.
Like that's what he's always been that. But playing against Edey now allows him to be in the paint. Allows him to say, "Hey,
I think they move him around more than that.
You got to rebound the ball
because he does not rebound.
Because I think what they do is I think they use Zach Edey in ball screens over and over and over. That's what they did down the stretch.
And he's going to be in drop covers just like Zach Edey will. Right. They both going to be in Zach. He's just not the rim protector that Zach Edey is.
Or the rebounder.
Don't you believe that Mohamed Diarra's got to be big again for NC State?
But that's why he's the rebounder. It's going to be Diarra.
He's been great.
That's what he does. So it's like DJ Burns is going to be your point guard in the half court. Like for those who haven't watched NC State, he's their point guard in the half court. The offense, he's there. Run your offense through him. He's not a good defender. He's more than likely he'll get into foul trouble early.
About 4 assists per game in the tournament, and more than that. With I think NC State.
Can I just say one thing real quick? I just love that we all have a nice cocktail here, and Trevor Valise, our producer, is drinking a pink lemonade.
Wait a minute, what is that? It's a pink lemonade.
A pink lemonade.
No alcohol in it. What is it? Just a pink lemonade?
It's a pink lemonade.
He's drinking a pink lemonade. Okay. I think Randolph.
He's still sobering up from the Illini.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh. That's tough. The Illini, his Illini let him down. That was
the Illini women, though.
The Illini
just
women
won the WBIT championship.
First ever.
Shannon Green, congrats.
Congrats to the Illini. They beat Villanova 71-57.
That's why he's celebrating with a pink lemonade.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's an appropriate celebration there. Okay, I think RC Marquette just doesn't go 4 for 31 from 3. Okay, and then Duke's perimeter, Tyrese Proctor. Yep, you're cheersing me. To me, Morcell and Horn, the way that they have just been junkyard dogs throughout this tournament, isn't getting talked about enough.
I think. Look,
and Jaden Taylor. I've said this. I told you guys at Marquette. I said Jaden Taylor and Casey Morcell are as good of on-ball and wing defenders as you're going to find.
Yeah. If NC State is going to win this game, it is going to be because those 3 that you just mentioned are able to force Purdue's offense to operate 35, 40 feet away from the basket. If they're starting those ball screens and Zach Edey has to set it a step outside the three-point line as opposed to having his feet at the top of the key, I think that is a win for NC State, and I think that's what you need to do. You got to force them out. because I don't know what you're doing to
give
stop
you the
Zach
blueprint.
Edey.
You're not. You can't.
But you can cut the water off.
All
you can make
this
so
is gonna
the
get turned-
ball doesn't
yeah.
get to him.
Rob.
I think that is going to be. If I'm NC State, if I'm Kevin Keats, that's what I'm doing.
Rob,
I'm pressuring the ball.
he claims that he has the real blueprint.
I have the
and
blueprint.
the real ball.
I
knowledge.
have the way that NC State wins the game.
I'm listening.
If Zach Edey plays less than 10 minutes,
Stop it.
that's the only way. That's the only way they win the game.
No, I think it's.
I'm not going to say why he plays less than 10
Are you
minutes because I
kidding?
don't want to jinx him, but that would be the only way NC State
If
wins
he
this
scores
game.
30, but the perimeter's shut down, NC State can't win.
I'm only saying, Jeff. The only shot.
They're not
No,
gonna
no.
win.
Do
They're
I
not
think NC State wins the game? No. I'm just saying that we've seen a team in the way that they play. They have the size and perimeter defense to give Purdue's perimeter a difficult time.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying, and that's their
I
only
agree
shot.
With that.
That's
I
what I'm
agree
saying.
with that.
And
but,
the only
but,
chance.
but he's going to foul DJ Burns out, and then he's probably going to foul DR out.
Here's my only problem. Look at the teams that they've played in the tournament so far, right? Look at who they played. NC State,
Duke.
Who does Texas
They
Tech
play good
have?
teams.
Texas Tech didn't have someone to guard DJ Burns.
No.
Right? Oakland didn't have someone to guard DJ Burns. Marquette
Marquette
as
did
good
not.
as they were,
Duke-
they had also a guard.
Duke had a first rounder. Duke had a first rounder.
Well,
And Marquette had a guy we built up.
And
a
no,
lot of
and
good-
Marquette,
Ryan
and
Young.
Marquette
He
was
destroyed
supposed to
us,
have the
though.
Duke
guy.
had Ryan Young.
No, and what about the other guy?
Flip is
Filipowski?
They were
Yes.
soft. Soft.
I'm
No,
taking
no.
DJ
And what about-
Burns
what about
10 times
Marquette?
out of
What about
10 in that
Marquette?
matchup.
They were soft.
Iguodala?
Not good
He's
enough.
not big.
He's not. It's
DJ
an
Burns
opposite
can win that
track
matchup
game.
in the post. That's what I'm saying. It's
Theodore
like
was not
the way
good in the
that
tournament.
the way that NC State wins offensively is they make you have to make a decision. You either double DJ Burns or let him go one-on-one, and he can win the one-on-one matchups against Oso. He can win one-on-one against whoever Duke had. He can win one-on-one against whoever Texas Tech had. I don't think that he can do that against Purdue.
Now I have a question.
I think you guys thinking it's going to be. I'm not saying he's going to win the matchup. I just think he can be more effective than you guys giving him credit for.
I agree with you.
I just think you guys are acting as if Zach Edey's going to completely shut him down.
No, it's not.
I
But instead
think
of
he can
going-
be
he
effective.
was 13 for 19 from the floor against Duke. I think he's going to be like 9 for 18. And if you take it from a 13 to 19
That's not
guy
bad.
to 9 for 18, I don't think
Give
that
me
they
that
have,
all day.
Give me-
I
yeah.
don't think they have enough elsewhere, and I don't think they're going to do enough to stop him.
That's why I disagree. I think the strength. I don't
Now
know.
here's a $1 million question, okay? Because I'm
$1
suspecting
million. $1 million,
something
huh?
from you. Yeah,
$1 million.
Yeah. No, I want to know because I'm suspecting this because you're saying Edey if he plays less than 10 minutes.
I'm just
No,
saying the only way they win is if Zach Edey gets
I
in
understand.
major foul trouble or something happens.
Okay, let me ask you then. Which of the underdogs has a better chance?
Alabama.
NC State, and I don't think they have much of a chance.
The only reason I say Alabama is because I don't think either of them win. But Alabama, if I told you Alabama hit
they could go for 23.
if they hit like 24 threes,
Right.
I
would
ain't
that
had enough to
surprise
drink
you?
for this.
I don't think either of them win.
I ain't had enough to drink for this. If we're going to start this up, I need
I don't
more.
think either
I
of them
need
win.
straight shots if we're going
I
to
don't,
start
I don't
talking
think
about
either
this.
of them win.
They've won 10 straight tournament games by at least 13 points. They're not losing to Alabama.
I don't think they're losing, but what I'm telling you is that I think Alabama versus I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan
How
of.
long have you been drinking for?
No,
Not
he's
that
been
long.
asleep. He's been
Yeah,
asleep.
that's
That's the
nice,
problem.
like
He's
4
been
hour,
asleep.
I had a
all
nice
day.
4 hour nap on the plane.
All day.
I don't think NC State's got a chance against.
don't?
No, I don't think they have a chance against Purdue. I think that's my thing. I think Alabama, if they can hit like 24 threes, has a puncher's chance.
I'm going
Right?
to tell you another reason
my
why I
God.
think the reason why I say you're wrong as well.
I'll give you a
Because
puncher's
Ohio,
chance.
the
I don't think NC State's got
Final
a
Four
chance.
record.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think either of these teams win.
What's the
I think
record?
we're going to have 2 20-point games.
Hey, Trevor, can you do some research on the record for threes in a
Hey,
game?
everybody,
in-
if
in a
Alabama
Final
hits
Four game?
24 threes, will they have a chance?
Let's find out. Rob's got to make
of
you
course.
36 threes.
Hey, Rob's having
And he said have a chance.
Rob's having an off night. He's like 1 for 8.
That might be an on.
Keep shooting your shot, Rob.
Rob, if they
I'm going to
hit
keep doing it. I'm not stopping.
That's how good UConn is. You
Yes.
said if they hit 24, they have
Yes.
a chance.
They have a chance.
They don't even win.
Yes,
They don't
I don't
even
think
win
NC State's got a
24
chance. I don't think. Look, the bottom
I
line is
disagree
this.
with that, though.
Bottom line is this. I think we have 2 20-point games on Saturday night.
I hope you're wrong, but
I think we have two 20-point games this Saturday.
Yeah, I think UConn could be ugly. I think NC State
I like
keeps it
how
tight for
you
a little
guys.
while.
I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying the team that is the number 3 offense in America and a number 4 seed has a better chance of getting a win.
21. The record. We have the record according to Trevor Release.
By who?
Our statistician. Oh,
Alabama could break that. And if they break it, then they got a chance.
They got a chance.
But I like how you guys are so incredulous. I'm saying the 4 seed, right, that we talked about all season long as potentially being the best team in the SEC, has a better chance of pulling an upset than a team that lost their last 4 games, that no one here thought of at all about potentially being here. Nobody. How is this crazy to say that the team that's a 4 seed has a better chance to win a game than the team that's an 11
I'll say this because
it's who they're playing.
UConn is so explosive on the offensive end of the floor. The difference is that Purdue will play at a pace that would allow NC State to hang around, I believe.
We've got a break. I'm not falling for it here. Everybody's trying to will a UConn close game into existence. I'm not falling for it here.
I'm not.
Just yet.
When did I say a close game? I just said they're both going to win by 20.
Robert's going to have a glass of water. When we return, more on this Final Four. We'll get a little Final Four draft, if you will. We'll have these guys pick their best of the best players. We'll talk about these 4 coaches. How about the job Nate Oates has done? How did he do this at Alabama? That's next. This is the Field of 68 live from Huss Brewing Company.
Haven't heard by now, we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using the BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the Final Four. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets on anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app and use that code FIELD to sign up today. It's time to talk about Vaulted. Vaulted is an app that allows you to store your predictions now and forever. It also allows you to challenge your friends to prove that your takes are, in fact, smarter than theirs. But what makes Vaulted great is that it allows you to keep all the receipts that you need to prove that your friends are not as smart as they think they are. With that in mind, let's roll through the 5 worst Vaulted predictions that were made on the Field of 68 after dark this season. On November 6th, Jeff Goodman predicted that St. Mary's would make it back to the Final Four. They lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. On November 29th, it was predicted that Arkansas would win the SEC. They finished 12th out of 14 teams. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. On December 13th, it was predicted that Michigan State would win the Big Ten. They finished in 6th place. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. On December 29th, it was predicted that Miami would return to the Final Four this season. They finished 14th out of 15 teams in the ACC. That prediction was made by Jeff Goodman. So download the Vaulted app that's spelled VLTED from the App Store now and start keeping all of those receipts. Nothing better in sports than tournament time, which is why I need to tell you guys about our partners over at Rhythm. If you're into sports betting, you need Rhythm, the place for data-backed props and picks. For those that are unfamiliar, Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, is the go-to mobile app for player props and game picks. Backed by AI predictive models, Rhythm helps you make smarter and faster betting decisions across all sports, but particularly college basketball. With Rhythm, you get data-backed picks for every single Division I game, every single day. Users get free picks daily with the ability to upgrade to unlimited access. If you want to increase your edge and win more bets, go to the link in the description and download Rhythm today. That's RITHMM, the place for data-backed props and picks.
Welcome back to the Field of 68 live from the Final Four. We are at Huss Brewing Company. We are at East Monroe Street in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. And before we get back to our Final Four programming, it is time for a brand new game that we're unveiling on this week's show. It's called Who He Coached For? Who He Coached For? I'm going to give you a name, and you're going to tell me.
No, we're doing it now.
Well, we're just doing
now.
one. We're just doing one. This is just an
one?
appetizer. Yeah. One or two.
Oh, this will
Yeah,
be
we're not
fun.
doing. Yeah, this is a little primer to have some fun with
I
the
want
game.
to see RC with this one.
All right.
This game should be fun.
Okay. So
All
here
right, what do
we
got?
go. Here we go.
Yeah.
The name of this coach, who he coached for, David Riley.
RC, he just
That's a
got
trick
the
question.
job.
He just got a new job today.
Right, he just got a job at Washington State, RC. And if you don't, if you don't get it right, you have to drink.
I just drank.
Drink again. Drink again.
All right, give us another one, fam.
You know it, don't you?
It was at Eastern Washington.
Right.
Now he's
Right.
at
You got
Washington
it.
State.
You got it.
And he now
It's now where?
Wazoo.
Wazoo. You want another one?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's keep going.
All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna make sure I've. All right, one more name here.
But we can do a couple of these. It's a fun drinking game.
Okay. Danielle Robinson.
You got it, RC?
You don't know.
Drink.
He doesn't know.
You know? Cleveland State.
Cleveland State.
Cleveland State.
You didn't know that?
Cleveland State. I'll drink anyway.
Man.
You look at me like I'm
Bring
crazy
them on.
for not knowing the
Stump
Cleveland
me,
State.
Fanta. Come on.
In fairness to me, I am sleep deprived right now.
All right,
it ain't
here's
like,
Oh,
Come on. Sleep.
I'm okay.
Oh,
No, go ahead,
come
go ahead,
on.
Go ahead. No excuses. Let's go.
All right.
Rule 76, no excuses.
got?
No excuses.
Play like a champion.
Ivan Thomas.
Oh, where did you just get?
No, I got it.
Kennesaw State.
Nope.
No.
Drink. I got it.
You got it?
I know I got it.
Go ahead.
What? It's HBCU.
I got it. Hampton.
Oh, yeah,
There you go.
Hampton.
Hampton,
I
the
got it.
Pirates. The Pirates. So I've stumped you. You're 0 for 3. Did you know Ivan Thomas?
I got
he's
David
1 for
Riley.
2.
I'm 1
You
for
got
3.
one. He's one.
Hey, no, he's two. He's 2 for 13 now.
I'm 3 for 3.
You're 3 for 3.
He's 2 for 13. He hit one more shot to make him think he hot now. He getting it back.
Heat check. Heat check.
All right, here we go.
Heat
Hold
check.
on. I'm thinking right now. Stan Johnson.
Easy.
Yeah,
Come on,
an easy
RC.
one there.
Yeah,
Come on, RC.
Yeah.
Loyola.
Fanta should drink for
Wait,
that.
Yeah,
No,
drink for
say
that
the
one.
name of the
we
school.
all know that. Loyola Marymount.
RC knew it.
That was
Come on.
Oh, I
that's-
don't know. I don't know
Drink
if
for
he
that
knew
one,
it.
Yeah, I
Fanta.
don't know
I
about
don't think
that.
he knew it.
I don't
think he
know.
knew it.
RC definitely
knew
knew
that
it.
one.
RC definitely knew it.
All right, what else?
Rob Senderoff.
Easy. Come on, this is easy.
Rob
Fanta,
Senderoff.
come on, man.
Senderoff.
He doesn't know.
No, do a better one. Ready? Ed Conroy.
He's still coaching? No.
He-
No kidding.
That was him 2 minutes ago. That was him who came up to me.
See, isn't
The
this
Citadel.
Yeah.
We're
We're playing this
McCall is gonna
every show. We're gonna play this game.
Yes.
It's who he coached for.
Okay, there we go.
Ed Conroy's Citadel.
Do we
by
have
the
a
way.
whole setup for this
Citadel.
game? Oh, there's a whole maze.
Oh, so we're ready. So this is a tease.
Goodman, tell the
team.
story about the time you fired Ed Conroy in the middle of a
I
game.
fired Ed Conroy at halftime at Tulane. So what happened was, legitimately, I'm not kidding.
Oh, I think I remember.
So
this.
what happened was, I knew he was getting fired when their season was over. Okay? So Gary Parrish did it first. I think he tweeted out that the game ended prematurely. He wrote that Tulane lost in the whatever tournament they were in, Conference USA at the time. So then I tweeted out, Ed Conroy's been fired. Well, as it turns out, it was only halftime.
Oh.
So he had to actually talk to his team about the fact that like he was not fired yet, but they ended up I think winning the game and he extended it another game. But yeah, he gives me shit about that every time. I fired him at
such a good story.
halftime. Fired him at halftime.
Do you want one more, and then
bad.
we'll get back
Sure,
to our?
yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
one
Here
more.
we go.
Do one.
Phil Martelli Jr.
I know this one.
St. Joe.
What do you got, Randolph? You got it?
Randolph's like 1 for 6, by the way. than this. Maybe 2.
And the one he got right was Stan Johnson.
I'm not sure he got it. I'm not sure.
No,
he got
I got 2.
He got 2. He got Ivan Thomas and Stan
I got
Johnson.
2.
All
right, Phil
Phil
Martelli
Martelli
Jr., Bill's
Jr.
son. You got this.
Is
What
that
one?
it?
What is it?
Brian.
What do you got? He
Brian.
doesn't know it.
He just
He
said
doesn't
it.
know it.
Brian.
No, because of
he's
Timberlake's
out.
there. I know
He's
Timberlake.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got
well, not for long, right?
I know. Well, no, but I know the kid. That's why I know the situation is.
I'm going to do one and get you involved at some point.
You have one right
you want
now?
me to go for one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right now?
Yeah, let's see if. I mean, I'm sure you could get me. Like the Big Sky.
No, I'll do a real. I'll do a league that you should know.
I got one
Elon.
for him.
Elon.
That's not the game. It's
No,
who
the
he coached
game.
for.
All right,
I got
all
one.
right.
No,
I gotta
but
give you a
Elon is
You got to get it. You
yeah.
gotta get who it is.
I got one for you. Hold on. Ready?
Billy Taylor.
Ready?
Billy
Good
Taylor.
I got one
Fran
for you.
McCaffrey.
Good
Disciple.
job.
Jerry Gerard.
Who?
Jerry Gerard.
Jerry Gerard?
Can you get a Fanta?
Jerry Gerard.
I don't know what he's doing right
Jerry Gerard.
Jerry Gerard.
now. No idea.
Jerry Mack just took Sienna. Jerry Gerard, go ahead.
No, I made the name up.
You can't just make a
You can't
name
just
up.
make up names.
I think I just
I'll give
did.
you one that I guarantee.
I think I just did.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Jarrett Van Rosenberg,
I don't know. Go ahead.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Would have never gotten it. You know
Tough
who
one.
you know who needs to
Tough
play
one.
this game? Who you could stomp?
Sean Paul
Kevin Sweeney.
and Sean Paul.
Yeah, the
them
two of
both
them
here.
on set.
We should have them both here.
Yeah,
I'll
Sean
stump
Paul
them.
and Kevin
Yeah.
Sweeney. We're doing. All right, let's get back to this Final Four. I got to ask you this question because you've addressed this already. But if I had told you when he got hired that Nate Oates would be taking Alabama to their first ever Final Four, what would you have said to me?
You're nuts. I would have said you're nuts. I mean, again, when Greg Byrne hired Nate Oates, it was so outside the box. And I had...
Who was up for that job?
Nobody knew. He went totally rogue. Like, there wasn't anything out there. Greg Byrne does a great job. He did it even with a football coach, the guy he hired from Washington. Like, people kind of surmised that he was going to go after him.
Where's
but
the job rank in the SEC?
Probably like middle top. You know, I'd say Alabama is like, you know, somewhere from like 4 to 6.
He doesn't.
I'd say 4 to 6 in the league. You think it's better? You think it's better? You put it ahead of Arkansas.
I sure as hell put it ahead of Arkansas.
You had Florida up there.
Over Arkansas. I don't get what you're saying. It's the second best job in the SEC.
It's a basketball job. There aren't
Nothing in the
basketball jobs.
SEC is a basketball job
Is
except
Arkansas-
Kentucky.
Is Arkansas a basketball
Kentucky's
job?
the only basketball
It
school
is.
in the SEC.
It's a basketball job. Arkansas, that's what
That has
makes
sucked
it
for
so
30
good.
years?
It's a basketball.
30 years?
Well, Georgetown sucked. That doesn't mean it's not a good job.
I never said Georgetown, and Georgetown hadn't sucked for 30 years.
15.
Just 17.
15.
Hey, that's half.
Just
That's
12
half.
years.
All of y'all asses to take 15 years back. You turn the clock. I sure as hell would.
I think
That's a long
Alabama,
time.
again, just because somebody makes it a great job. Like, to me, Ed Cooley made Providence a great job. He made it.
I understand that.
He overachieved.
Why is Arkansas a great job? Like I'm being serious. Why?
Because it's a basketball job
We have spent a lot of
in
time
the
on
SEC
Arkansas tonight.
when there aren't many. There aren't many, and it's got the resources.
It's
Their
only a
fan base-
basketball job because their football program has sucked more than their basketball
Are there
program.
10 better fan bases out there than
No,
Arkansas?
I won't give you. I'll give you that. I've been
Okay,
there.
So they've got that.
They're rocking. They
They've
got fan
that,
base is
right?
incredible.
Insane.
Support's incredible.
Right? Their home court advantage is insane.
Yes.
Their resources are insane.
Everyone in the SEC's resources is insane.
But for basketball.
Not everyone.
For basketball. Vanderbilt's not good for
Missouri?
For I mean, it's
They just don't
okay.
care.
Okay, you're right. So Arkansas is a better
Carolina's-
job than Vanderbilt. He got that.
No, South
Can
Carolina.
you concede that? Arkansas is a better job than
No.
Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Arkansas is better than. I mean, there's
think
certain jobs there.
Arkansas-
I just don't put it that high. I think it's
I
more
put it-
middle.
I put it 2.
No way.
My job's to get the train back on the tracks.
I'm sorry. Get it back.
Alabama in the Final Four. Like, how has this happened? Explain to me. You were around this program a little bit. They lost 4 of their last 6 games coming in the NCAA tournament. They gave up 117 points to Kentucky. They gave up over 100 points to Florida, Rob. How the heck has this happened? What's going on for Alabama to get here? What impresses you the most?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that they've started defending to a level that has been good enough, right? We kind of said this about Kentucky all year, Randolph, but you don't have to be a great defensive team every single possession for the entire game, right? You just got to be good enough to be able to score more than that. That's all that matters. You don't have to give up 60 points if you can score 90. You just got to give up 89.
The reason they're here is because their best defense is their offense. They put so much pressure on you, and no one. How many teams, when you get to the tournament, sometimes it's about style, and have you seen it?
That's true.
How many you match up on a team that spreads you out, that everybody's playing from behind the three-point line, they're shooting threes at a high clip, and if they're making threes, now they're having you. You're chasing them. Then they're getting to the rim, and their best defense is their offense.
You want to know the truth about why they're here? It's because R.J. Davis in the Sweet 16 went 4 for 20 from the floor and 0 for 9 for 3, and Mark Sears in the Elite 8 hit 7 straight threes in the second half. That's why they're here. Let's call it what it is. That's why they're here.
I won't argue that.
Mark Sears, what have you made of his rise as a superstar?
It's crazy. I mean, again, because you look at him and you're like, how? How does this dude carry the team all year? I've said it, like, we saw them in person, and we both came away being like, all right, that team, they're okay. Mark Sears, what he's done, because everybody knows.
It's the system.
Is he better? Has he had a better year than Tristan Newton?
Is it simply the system?
Well, I don't know better because, again, it is a different system, right? Like Mark
Has
Sears
he had a better
guard.
year?
He doesn't guard. He doesn't guard.
Tristan Newton's had a better year.
Tristan Newton's a better overall player.
I didn't say who was better. I said who had a better year.
He's had a better year.
He's averaging 17.
I mean, Sears has carried that team. It's incredible. It's incredible what they've been able to do. And now, again, you're at the Final Four with a team that nobody really expected to get there. You lost your whole staff. You lost.
That's the thing that's crazy about it. It's not
crazy.
It's not that
crazy.
it's not what they've done so far this season. Because I think every single one of us at some point this season said, when you have an offense like that, I would not be surprised to see them get hot and move 4 in a row. I think we've all said that at some point. To me, what's crazy is that you lose Charles Bediako unexpectedly. You lose Brandon Miller. You lose Noah Clowney.
No one's lost more.
But like based off of
including staff, no one's lost more.
You lose Javon Quinterly in June. You lose all 3 of your assistants while the portal is opening up, right? You lose all of that. And you still come back this year and you're able to find a way to be as good as you are. Like, I think that says a lot about, 1, Mark Sears, more than anything else, but 2, about the way that Nate Oates, the offense that they run works, right? Because the bottom line is this, like, they're not as talented as the Alabama teams we've seen in the past. This team is nowhere near as good as last year's team. They're nowhere near as good as the team in 2021 that had Herb Jones and John Petty in that group, right? I would argue they're not as good as some of the other teams. I don't think this is anywhere near Nate Oates' best team.
But they're here.
The team with Herb Jones, like you said, the team with Petty and Jones, he inherited. I say it all the time. Like, the big thing for Nate was took a job that really was outside the box, right? Completely outside the box. And that's why we all questioned it. But he inherited enough talent. And where Avery Johnson honestly did not do a very good job, Nate, they needed a guy like that at that point, right? Nate is a workhorse. He wants to coach. Former high school coach. This was his kind of dream job in a way at the high major level, and he won right away. So people forgot that he wasn't from there. They don't care if you win right away.
Matter if you're from
they
Jupiter.
Don't care.
I also
Even Pat Kelsey will be like that. Not that he's not from the Midwest, but like if you get shit done right away.
I also don't think where you're from matters all that much.
But it did then.
But it matters all that much as long as you're able to build relationships, right? As long as you're able to, like, if you don't have to be from Alabama to be able to go down there and find a way to get along with all the AAU coaches in the South.
Hey man, you got to build a roster with the cash you've got.
Yeah, and what helped him at the time was he had
even out the window.
How many recruiters in 2020? When did he get the job? 2020? I think he got in 2020, right? 2019. At that point in time when he got the job, how many recruiters in America were better than Brian Hodgson?
No, I mean, he's relentless. He's relentless. And he got a job at Arkansas State.
So being able to have a guy that can go out there and build those relationships and get some players certainly helps. But I do think that this is it's a little bit of a testament to being able to get people to adapt to the way that you want to play. right? Like I would make
it's
the argument.
It's easier to play, though, when you play in a style that translates and you're able to tell kids, hey, this translates. This is what the NBA is doing. He's a very analytical staff, very analytical style of play, and it translates. So when you walk into a house, you're able to walk into Brandon Miller and say, hey, this is how we play. This translates to the NBA. Let's cut the crap. This is what you want to do.
NIL. I mean, because he understood.
Because you understand, it's an easy sell, and then now it's even more valuable than ever because you essentially got 4 assistants moving off to get head coaching jobs. So in a short period of time, and we joked when we talked to him the other night, it's like he's going to have to turn his phone off because if I'm an assistant coach, I'm calling him like hell. And I want to be on a fast track to get my own damn program.
It's a fun environment, atmosphere. We were down there, Preston Murphy, Austin Collins, who got the head job. Like, Nate is an easy guy to work for. He's an easy guy to work for. His system's fun. They embrace it down there at Alabama. They can kind of go under the radar. You know, they walked into the bar we were in, and nobody knew who the hell they were.
And you know what else it is? You don't have the pressure of one bad season putting you on the hot seat the way that it's a little bit of a different situation with Muss. But one bad year for Muss, and boom, people are like, all right, I don't know if this is the right situation.
That didn't put him on the hot seat. He might just be leaving.
Like, yeah, I know, but it's when you are at a place like Alabama where what they're worried about, like even right now, how many Alabama fans of the University of Alabama athletics, how many of them are worried more about the Final Four and how many are worried about the spring game?
They're worried about what?
The spring game. The spring game.
They're more worried about if they can sustain football.
I think that takes a level of pressure off of you where, like, you can go out and win. And you have the resources you need to win at the highest level, but it's not also the kind of thing where, like, they won 8-5 in the non-conference. And how many coaches, if you're at like a Louisville or a Kentucky or a UConn or a Purdue or an Indiana, like you have that record in non-conference, people are going to be like, oh man, what is going on here? No one even noticed because football was still going on. So it reduces the level of scrutiny and public spotlight that you get, and I think that does it makes it easier, man. You don't have the pressure.
To me, when you look at how they identified their portal pieces, we talked about this last week. They brought in guys who just flat out score the ball. Like, not only is it enjoyable for an assistant coach to be on Nate Oates' staff, if you're a player like an Aaron Estrada who ruled the CAA, a Grant Nelson who ruled North Dakota State, you want to come to Alabama because they know how to produce guys who get to the next level.
Well, here's what's interesting about that is that it took a while for Aaron Estrada to figure out how to play within the Alabama system, because he was a guy that was used to at Hofstra. It was like, all right, I got the ball in my hands, dribble.
You got to learn how to play without the ball.
Yeah,
he could do whatever he wanted
like
to.
You got 15 seconds, you make a move, you get to a midi pull-up, right? That's kind of what Aaron Estrada was. Whereas at Alabama, it's like you're not taking middies. You're taking threes and you're taking layups. And it took him a while to figure out how he could fit into the offense and get his shots when there's shots that he wasn't used to taking. Grant Nelson is a guy where, I mean, you talk to that staff today, and they will tell you he is so much better than he realizes. He doesn't know how good he is yet. And I think what we've seen as part of the run of the tournament, he's got 9 blocks in the last 3 games. And the knock on them all year, RC, was they could not get stops. And all of a sudden, you got this guy kind of figuring out, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I can be better than what I've been in the past.
I don't think they're as bad as their numbers maybe suggested, but I will, like I said, I think their best defense is their offense, because you got to play at an efficient pace and you got to score. And sometimes that forces you to take bad shots, quick shots, ill-advised shots to try to keep up. And they're spreading you out. And that's like you joked about. We giving you crap about them making that many threes. But they have to make a high volume of threes. If whoever they're going to put Donovan Clingan on is knocking down shots and it forces him to come out, now you got a game now. Because
you got to trade threes for twos.
Well, not just that, because if you pull the big guy out, now I get layups. Now I'm driving closeouts. Now you're chasing. That's what this scheme
is. You're making Clingan uncomfortable. Yeah, is what you got to do.
And that's what it does to everybody. So if you run some defensive scheme where you're like, all right, I got to have a guy head underneath the rim, and we're going to drop, we're going to drop on the weak side. You're chasing, you're Xing out, and then they're driving that, or they're shooting threes. It's just they just do a great job with it, and that's why everybody's trying to emulate it.
Yeah, and I do think that the matchup here, for me, I'd be playing Stevenson over Pringle. I think that I don't think that this is a Pringle game, because if you have Pringle out there, Klingon doesn't have to leave the paint, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Like,
you might as well.
With his head under the basket.
They got a puncher's chance if they like. You heard me say this before. I've said it 100 times. I think it's small ball. I zone. I dare certain guys to shoot. Not named Kerriman. Not named. Who else would I would say? Spencer. Outside of those guys, I'm living with the other guys beating me from 3. 5 guys rebound, and then let's drive and kick and play. That's it.
It's really remarkable that they're standing here in the Final Four. Like that's the biggest thing here. I mean, you look, the West was wild to say the least. I mean, I thought for sure, I just thought Carolina or Arizona was going to be one of the last standing, but for both of them, we all did, and it was Clemson and Alabama. Sorry, Terrence Oglesby. Is he done mourning?
But we talked about that though. That was a team that we said early in the year, and I was with T on that. I thought that team could win the ACC early. They figured it out later, and that was a team that we picked. So I'm not surprised that they had the year that they had. It was more of what the hell is going on with them earlier in the year.
Right.
So for them finishing the way we thought they would, they just finished the year, which is probably more important than starting the year that way.
Are you ready to forever put Brad Brownell off of Hot Seat Watch?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brad's off. Not forever. I'll never say forever with a hot seat.
I think he does his best coaching jobs when he does.
I know.
He does. He just seems like it.
I might call Brad and just go, hey, Brad, do you want me to keep putting you on there?
Yeah. Just put him on there so they can win.
Can I ask you this?
Hell of a coach.
Here's what I love about working with you three. I can ask you any question. I like to tee up the questions.
Do it. Let's go.
Who is the coach? You can't pick the guy that we're going to talk about here still on tonight's show that you nearly ran into outside the bar earlier. Okay. Who heading into next year has a real hot seat? Who in college basketball?
Real hot seat. I would say of the high major guys.
Yeah.
Who's a really hot seat?
I'm looking at a list too.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now and see. I mean, Bobby Hurley probably has a really hot seat here in where
as they move to the Big 12.
Yeah,
which that's
we're in
his
his
hard.
territory. Wayne Tinkle, those two guys who were in the Pac-12. That's a hot seat for
Jeff
sure.
Capel.
Didn't they just extend Bobby though?
No. He's got a new AD too coming. So I think he'd be somebody that I think. Let's see who else.
Jeff Capel.
Jeff Capel?
No,
I don't think so. They got
no.
more coming back.
No.
Does Wes Miller need to have a good year?
I mean, Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson. He might be number one. I mean, number one. The AD had to come out basically with a statement saying he's okay this year. He's number one. I mean, Calipari's number one.
We're going to get to him in the next segment.
Mike Woodson might be number 2 on the hot seat.
Are they going to be good enough?
I mean,
he did just get a good pickup.
Who is Indiana?
Yeah.
Are they going to get any shooters? I mean, you see they're in there for the big kid Amari Williams.
Yeah.
He can't
shoot the ball.
So you're going to play him and Renew. We're going to do this again.
They got a great shooter coming in, Liam McNeely.
Yeah.
Right? Liam McNeely, isn't he coming in?
After him.
No, they got a two-way wing.
Yes.
Who's not a good shooter.
Yeah.
Not a good shooter.
I'll shoot him.
I mean, it's
no, you got to get shooters. Like, you got to get shooters.
I don't
Like,
think he's
enough
bad,
of this shit.
but yeah.
Enough of this.
Basketball to Jeff Goodman is so simple. Just get some shooters, get a point guard, and you're good to go. That's all you need. Is point guard playing shooters. As long as you have point guard playing shooters,
you shooters, and see how that works out. Because that worked out like shit this past year.
It was not.
I don't know, man. They were top 100 in KenPom.
No, they actually were.
They weren't
for most of the year. Then they slid their way in.
Well, I'm
going to
tell you. I mean, at the end of the day, Villanova.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the hot seat. Kyle Neptune's certainly on the hot seat next year. I mean, again, Calipari, Woodson, Neptune, Hurley, Tinkle. I'm trying to think who else. Those are 5.
Already?
Sure.
You think?
Man, he makes it.
Kyle Neptune already?
Oh, yeah.
Randolph,
Hell
he
yeah.
can't miss it again.
Hell yeah.
He can't miss the tournament
No
3
doubt.
straight years. They hadn't missed in 11 years until they missed it last year. Now this is they paid $3 million for their roster. It didn't make the NCAA tournament. I mean,
Then you have the retirement watch
truth.
of Leonard Hamilton and Jim Larinaga.
Right.
Both of them.
A
They
source
could be
told us
forced
Leonard
out.
Hamilton is flying first class here.
What?
We got a text earlier. Somebody said they saw Leonard Hamilton on the plane. I think Henson, and Hamilton is in first class.
I should have asked Henson.
I like how you just burn your
McCall.
sources right there.
It's
You
McCall.
just burn your sources. You just burn your sources.
I mean, McCall's not a newsbreaker, so like MattMcCallSports.com tells us that Leonard Hamilton is sitting in first class.
Well,
which he should.
Matt
He's
McCall is supposed to be on the show tonight. Where is he?
Was RC
Anyone see McCall?
Class?
No. I did. I was on an upgrade, though.
Oh.
Got an
What
upgrade.
airline do you fly?
American.
You're in American.
Delta.
I normally am United out of Newark.
Yeah, I'm Delta out of Boston.
You haven't lived until you've flown out of Newark Airport.
Oh, I've done it.
I've done it plenty.
The new one's nice, though.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
They
They've
renovated
done a better
terminal.
They renovated it. It's a nice terminal. It's nice.
You know what the worst airport in America is?
What?
Philadelphia.
Why?
The worst airport in
It can't be
America.
that. I mean-
it is a travesty. It is a travesty. It is a train wreck. I hate that airport.
Coming up, we're going to talk about John Calipari. We're going to maybe play another round of who he coached for because that's one of the most fun games. And we're going to do the draft. That is next. We're going to do the draft. These guys are going to pick. They're not going to be on the clock long. We're just going to
Hold on. Who gets the first pick? Because I got to prep. And are we doing a snake draft?
All right, hold on. We're going to play a game in the break and see who gets the first pick in the draft.
Don't do it in the break. That's content.
So you mean we
Okay,
can't pick?
So the two of you are going to chug that
So
beer,
we
and
can't
whoever
pick the same
finishes
guy? We
picks
got to pick
first.
somebody different is what you're saying?
You pick, it's different teams. You can't pick the same
shit.
guy. You go pick by pick.
It's a draft.
We
gonna
also
run out of
challenge it. Can we run? Do we know 15 players? For RC, does he?
No.
RC's just going to pick the entire NC State starting lineup.
That's next on the Field of 68 live from the Final Four.
Haven't heard by now, we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using the BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the Final Four. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets on anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app and use that code FIELD to sign up today. By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. Here's how the app works. All of the podcasters and bloggers and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in Autograph. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or try to navigate the only safe for work spaces that are left on X, you just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I'm a UConn fan. I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets and signed memorabilia. Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access
to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
Welcome back to Huss Brewing Company, one of 3 Huss Brewing Company locations here in Phoenix. They've got 4, this ownership group across town. We're at East Monroe Street, downtown Phoenix, Arizona, the home of the 2024 Final Four. First time the Final Four is here since 2017. That year, who won the national championship in 2017, RC?
I'm too busy listening. Teddy Pendergrass in the background right there.
It came from
I don't
the
know if y'all
ACC.
been listening because they had Shaka Khan on earlier. So
yeah, it's been
I'm
a good
grooving here
playlist.
today.
North Carolina. John Fanta, Jeff Goodman, Rob Dauster, Randolph, Childress. Rob, there's so many ways that people can follow our content this week. I just heard Tristan Freeman's here, and we said, what are you working on? He goes, I'm working on.
Yeah, the daily. He's grinding it over there, working on the daily.
What is the daily for those who are just joining us for the first time?
Daily is where you can keep up with everything that goes on in college hoops. Every morning it's delivered to your email box. All you have to do is subscribe, so make sure you do that because it's absolutely awesome. And you can do it like 5 minutes. You can catch up on everything.
It's good, and it's going to be effective it's really important during the off season with the portal.
Yes,
there is
nobody
no
else
off-season.
does it.
Yeah.
Nobody else does it.
All right, are we ready for this draft?
I've never been more ready for anything in my entire life
So
than I am for this
how
draft
should we
right
decide who picks first in this?
now. Fanta,
Like you always do. You always come at me first, so why not give me the first
Oh,
pick?
look
But
at
I'll wait. I'll wait.
Well,
Okay.
based on
Oh.
your shooting percentage tonight, you would get the
I'll
first
pick
pick
it up.
because it was the worst at the
No. Rob is 2 for like
No.
30.
I mean,
So who should
it's
we-
not me.
Okay.
I've had the best steaks.
What do we think,
What do you mean?
Trevor? Pick somebody
How have I
first.
not have the best steaks?
How about RC and yeah? All right, I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 10. All right, I've got the number. Go ahead.
3.
9.
6.
It was 7. You
All
get the
right,
first
RC
pick in the
gets
draft.
Zach Edey.
Rob
Snake
is
draft,
second.
right? Snake draft, right?
Jeff is third. All right,
Snake
so
drafts.
wait. Trevor and Dagan in YouTube chat, you're going to track. So Randolph is first, and he picks Edey. Okay. Robert, you're picking
Let me
second.
think about this. Hold on. Let me do a little game planning here.
Wait a minute. I mean, this
I'm
is
taking Cam Spencer. Yeah,
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Did Dauster make a mistake with the second pick in
No,
this
I
draft?
don't think so. No, I think he's okay. I'm going to take Klingon and Braden Smith.
Klingon and Braden Smith for Jeff. Back to Dauster.
Give me Mark Sears.
Mark Sears is Robert's pick here. And now we send it back to Randolph Childress.
Newton. And we playing off they got to be in their natural positions, right? We ain't
No, you can be.
You pick
do
any
whatever you
5.
want.
We're
Do
going to
whatever
pick.
you want.
The YouTube chat's going to
You
vote.
only get 5 though.
Give me Caravan. And Tristan Newton.
Newton and Caravan. So you have Newton, Caravan, and Edey.
I do.
That's a pretty damn good team.
I know.
You have 2 first-team All-Americans
Give me-
and a totally
Give
unsung
me,
hero.
give me Steph Castle.
Steph Castle.
was
DJ
going
Burns
hard.
is still on the board. There's not been an NC State player taken in this draft. But you already picked Klingon. You have Klingon
I
and
don't know if
Braden
they can play
Smith.
together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I agree. I don't think that.
That's
they
why I
can.
said the position. I'm a dominator. That's why I took
You
the
need
Got
a
me a tough spot here.
I took
It's
the
hard.
pick.
The guy with the number 1 pick right now. But this is key. It's a key pick here.
What do I have right now? What do I got?
You have
Klingon and Braden.
Klingon and Braden. Nobody's picked DJ Horn. You get 2 picks here, remember, man.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Aaron Estrada.
Aaron
I'm
Estrada.
going to go Aaron Estrada, and I'm going to take DJ Burns just to make sure. I'm going to try to play those dudes
Wow,
together.
he's got
I'm
Burns
gonna try to
and
go
Klingon
big.
on the same
I'm going to try to go
team.
big.
He's got Burns and Klingon on the same
you got?
team.
This
Robert?
is tough. This
I
is
had to
tough.
take
Who do
him
I have
away
right now? I have Mark Sears, Steph Castle, Cam Spencer. Have I only made 3 picks?
Yes.
You need a big.
Need a big bad.
That's why I took Burns.
Yeah, he took Burns and screwed you.
He was taking
It's fine. He
Samson
can have DJ
Johnson,
Burns.
Nick Pringle,
Grant.
Grant Nelson, man. Mohamed Diarra.
Yeah, I'm taking Grant Nelson. Give me Grant Nelson.
Grant Nelson?
Grant Nelson.
Grant Nelson.
Okay, I'm
All right.
taking DJ Horn. I got it. Hey, man, my squad is kicking ass. Don't worry about what. Just look at it. Okay. I dig a DJ Horn. And I am.
One more
Let me see
pick
what your
here.
rosters is looking like.
Oh, get out of here.
We just had a potential hacking job there.
Yeah, I might get some tampering charges here.
All right.
I'm going to say I got one more pick.
10. 5, 4, 3,
Casey Morsell.
2. Casey Morsell. Robert, you're on the clock here. 30 seconds. This is a Final Four draft. It's thrilling radio.
Give me the chip.
If you're just, you have more. He has Tristan Newton, Casey Morsell, Zach Edey, Alex Caravan, and who's the 5th?
DJ Horn.
That's a pretty damn good team.
I'm kicking y'all ass. I just want y'all to
beat
know.
That team.
A man of many talents.
You know evaluating talent.
Rob, you're in the NIT, man. Get your squad out
I
there.
am in the
Come on.
NIT.
Yeah, by the way.
No, they lost.
State
They in the
Seton Hall
CBI.
In the NIT final
CBI.
tomorrow night. Josh Schertz versus Shaheen Holloway tomorrow night.
Let's go.
Rob,
I'm trying
make the
to pick.
pick. This is horrendous radio.
We're struggling right now.
Running
We're
out of
struggling
guys,
right
man.
now.
Hey.
Well-
Hey, he wants Hurley's son. He's
Let's
go.
They're 41-0 when Andrew Hurley plays.
my
No, he
gosh.
is. You need help.
Give a buzzer.
You
Somebody
know,
Yeah.
last year you had this idea and you feared it would go this way, and so now we tried to execute it. Go ahead.
Give me Fletcher Lawyer. I'm going full small ball.
Nobody picked him.
All right,
Full
give me-
small
give me
ball.
Lance Jones.
Fletcher
And is that
Lawyer.
it?
That's it.
done?
Lance Jones, you're done.
I'm done.
So, all right,
Lance
Jalen.
Jones.
Do you have that? Lance Jones was the last pick. Fletcher Lawyer was Rob. So let's RC.
Without a doubt, Randolph's got the best team.
I think RC's got the best team.
My team does not stink.
Now, no, wait, hold on. If Jeff has the best team, or if Randolph has the best team, who of these two has the better team? YouTube chat, listen. Here we
Can't
go.
play
Jeff.
Donovan Klingon and DJ Burns together.
Mark Sears, Stephon Castle, Cam
That's
Spencer,
good.
Grant
That's
Nelson,
good.
and
Yeah.
Fletcher Lawyer. Now, Donovan Klingon, DJ Burns, Braden Smith, Aaron Estrada.
That's
and
the
Lance
worst
Jones.
defensive team in the country.
I'm look.
Klingons out there.
That's
I'm
the worst
not,
defensive
I'm
team
not
in the
beating you. I'm whooping his
Klingons.
ass.
What are you
I'm not
talking
beating
about?
you. I'm
I
whooping
got
his
Klingons.
ass.
I don't need
Yeah,
defense.
I'm not
on the
beating you.
perimeter.
I'm whooping his ass.
No way. No way.
And that,
I got Klingon.
my friends,
think
was
it's
the
fair to
final
say I got the
four.
best squad.
Was the
You do.
final four draft.
You do.
Which now leads us, as we've hit 6:42, potentially my favorite topic of any show that we do, John Calipari in Lexington.
Do you want to bring him over? He just walked by. Why don't we bring him over for the sake?
I don't think that would work out all that well.
He's not around.
Let's turn to John Calipari. So obviously there was drama with the loss to Oakland, and then with the televised interview between Calipari and Mitch Barnhart, his AD, as the fellows are going to retweet out the link to our show. So these two people get into a room and go on local TV and talk about how they're connected, and they talked about how they're going to go out and how you want to go out on a high note and all that stuff. In other words, like he's getting another shot.
And just so you know, they don't really love each other. Barnhart and
Do they
Cal,
like each other?
I don't know if they like each other. They deal with each other, but the relationship has not been. There's not been a lot of synergy there over the last few years.
So I guess here's my question. Because if I'm a Kentucky fan, being a Cleveland sports fan, I found myself asking this question with a lot of my teams through the years. What's going to change, and what's it going to take for me to actually buy back in? Because if I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm out now. I'm not buying into anything. So, what needs to happen, for my opinion, as a Kentucky fan to change? I'm speaking for all Kentucky fans right now who are out.
I mean, it's the construction of your roster. That's what's got to be different. Because, again, if you have the right pieces, you don't need the greatest X's and O's coaching staff. What Cal is, a master motivator and handler of egos. He's great at that. We can all admit that. There's going to be no doubting. But what he needs is the right players, the right – I mean, listen, he got lucky last year. He got lucky just to be able to get Antonio Reeves back and get Trey Mitchell. It could have been a shit show in the regular season if he went in with all those freshmen.
The biggest thing, and you're not wrong, like you got to adjust what you're doing. I think you think this, and I know T.O. thinks that it's going to pivot back to the freshmen as we move forward in time. I don't think it is.
Not next year.
Not next year. I don't think that. I don't think.
And
that's
he's got 1 year left to
Yes.
prove himself.
Yeah, if you don't get it done next year.
I don't think that that's necessarily the way to go. Not with NIL keeping a lot of these guys in and around college basketball for longer than expected. But I mean, I think you need to keep leaning into the style that you were playing this year. Don't say, oh, we lost in the first round of the tournament, so let me go back to playing a big guy that can't shoot, a point guard that can't shoot and pound everything in through the glass and just do nothing but run that floppy action over and over and over and over and over again. But you got to get older, man. Like, you have to be older. I just think that it's that simple. Now, the key might be trying to get back, and I know a lot of these guys have already into the portal, and some of them are very clearly going to go pro, but I think you have to be able to start.
Who do you want back? It's realistic because you're not getting Dillingham back.
Are you getting
You're
Reed
probably
Shepherd
not
back?
getting Shepherd back.
Could you?
Listen, could he come back? Sure, he could. But, man, in this draft, where honestly Reed Shepherd is probably a top 10 pick.
Why would you?
You know what's funny about that?
Crazy.
He might be a top 10 pick in this draft. He might be able to scrape together more NIL money as Reed Shepherd.
I know,
for
but
the
how do you
University of
not
Kentucky.
go if you're a
You
top
have
10
to go.
pick?
You have to go because if you're a top 10 pick, you're going to get, what does it end up being, like $30 million guaranteed? Like you have to.
It would be a bad business.
I feel
decision.
differently than you guys on all of that. I know it's a bad draft. I don't see the rankings. I don't see NBA teams picking some of these guys. Like,
I'm going to ask you
give
to
me
do
a turn
mock
Shannon
draft.
over a
Tonight,
guy like that.
I'm going to give you, honestly, some homework tonight. In between all the drinking you're doing.
I'm not drunk enough to believe I'm picking a lottery pick on a 6'3" kid that plays below the rim. And I'm no disrespect to these guys. I think they're good players.
Are you giving him a homework assignment?
But yeah, I'll do it.
I'm giving him a homework assignment.
Give it to me.
I guess here's
I'm
my
trading
thing.
my pick. Go ahead.
I guess here's my thing. Like, this seems to – am I wrong for saying, like, this is staring Cal in the face? The solutions are there because other people are able to do it. You just said it. You don't need to be a mastermind of X's and O's. They can get any kid they want, Randolph. What the hell? Why isn't this happening? And do you think it's going to happen? Call your shot. Do you think he will adapt, or a year from now is he gone?
My concern with him is that adapt in what way? Because everything which everybody's dancing around is they're asking Cal to change. Cal hasn't changed. Let's say it what it is.
That's the
You're
problem.
asking, and listen.
But he brought in. Wait. A couple of years ago, he brought in Oscar.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Transfers.
I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying when I say change. When I say change, I'm talking about from what's being reported. Stylistically, they're not running anything great. They're not scheming you open. They're just lining up with these guys. And I don't know, is there an input from his staff on the way they play? Or is this just Cal saying I got it?
I think there is an input from the staff because if there was an input from the staff, it wouldn't be. That's why what's the guy? John
Welch.
Yeah.
John
I think
Welch.
that he changed the way that he played this season.
In what way? No, man, and I'm not trying to be smart. In what way you feel he changed?
They didn't throw everything into the post. They
didn't have the personnel. When my backcourt is lottery picks, I got to go with my guards.
So he did. So he changed what he did.
I said no. The personnel dictated how you had to play. That's just you'd be an idiot to say, hey, I got Oscar Sheepway coming back, and then I'm gonna play something different style. So the personnel dictated we play a different way. That still doesn't mean he changed. Does he feel as though he needs to change. And what I mean by that is
all right. So I'm
not saying
we're on the same page, because I think what's going to happen is he's going to see this first round exit and he's going to say, I need to go back to getting 17 different big guys. I need to go back to
Rob, because that's an anomaly. That 1 year with Oscar Tshiebwe is not the way he's always been. That's not the norm.
But it was.
That was him going with the level of experienced guys. I disagree with that. Usually he'll get the top freshman guys, and whatever that freshman talent is, he did with it, like he did this year. This year was more of an indicative of, I thought, how he played, saying, hey, my strength is with these freshman guards. And let me let them play. Oscar Tshiebwe year was not.
That's an outlier.
It's an outlier.
But it's. My point is that they run this. It's not modern offense that they're running. What they go back to is they go back to having no shooters. They run that same floppy action over and over again. They run the same sets. It's the same 4 plays.
Well, if that happens,
they did not do that this year.
If that happens, he's going to be out of a job.
Yeah, even with Tshiebwe, they still did that same thing where they're just running dudes off of those same sets, and that's my biggest issue, and that's where I thought that he actually made a step this year, was that he went. He spread it out.
I would, and again, none of us are qualified to suggest anything to Kyle. He's one of the greats, and he'll go.
Qualified.
Wait a minute, no, hold on. I mean, I always say, and even as this is changing, we are compensated to talk about these things and to talk and a coach is open to criticism.
True, and you're right. Let me say that. And Rob, let me be clear, because I'll stand on what I say, and I ain't afraid to talk shit to none of these dudes.
I know you're not.
Let's be clear with that.
But you know what I think?
Kyle ain't whooping my ass, so I ain't worried about that.
I think his assistants are there comfortably.
No.
His assistants don't go in his office.
No.
I just wonder if they're
The problem with that is your assistants are there. You brought these dudes in there. If you want to say something he could do, why don't you get out of the way and empower them and then CEO this thing?
Isn't he the CEO?
I don't
empower who? The assistants?
Empower his assistants.
They're yes men.
Yeah,
they're only yes men to if you're dictating that. That's an indictment on him.
Is it a good staff?
Yes, for what he wants.
That is it.
For what he wants, and it goes back to that. Say what you want. A staff is only as good. That's why when you guys. Let me say this. You guys say this all the time. You'll be like, this guy's a good assistant. You guys are a good assistant. An assistant is only as good as the damn head coach allows him to be.
Come on, man. You and I could recruit. You were at Wake. If you ever had the power to recruit for John Calipari, you're telling me you couldn't get top 25 players in your sleep?
They get top 25 players.
The right ones. Go get the right ones.
They lost a battle.
Go get the right ones.
They lost a battle to Duke. And I've said this before. They've lost a battle to Duke getting the guy. Duke gets the guy. They get the guy in the class these last couple years.
Cooper Flag.
Going back. The Paulo Bencaro, going back, the Zions, they're going back. They have won the battle of let's get the guy in this class. They have. When's the last time outside of Anthony Davis?
Do you know what part of the reason is?
Why?
I'll give you part of the reason.
Yeah, why?
John Shires outworked the hell out of John Calipari on the recruiting trail. Part of it. It's part of it. It is.
Well, this goes back prior to Shire. Shire ain't been there that long. We're talking about Zion. K was still there then. So you're saying K was doing it? And let's cut it out. Don't act like K was out there burning up the trails now. He made his annual Peace Jam trips. Other than that, he wasn't in Indiana on the West Coast doing all that. He showed up at Peace Jam and said, hey, I'm here. You coming or you're not?
Listen, the bottom line is this thing could flip quickly. And he can win if he gets the right players there. If he gets the right transfers. If he gets the right mix.
But he's not.
Like I always said. What did I say when they got DJ Wagner? What did I say to everybody? Why Wagner and Willingham?
Right.
Why? You need another big guy. You needed a veteran big guy off the bench. You didn't need another scorer.
He needed an experienced guard.
It's fine.
With
another
the
one of
freshmen,
those.
you needed
I'll
an
take one of
experienced.
those.
Antonio Reeves had a great year.
You needed an experienced point guard. You needed an experienced point guard.
That's what did it. Because that's what did it.
That's what they.
But here's the problem. The problem is, you're talking about how you help these kids and how you help. You can help 21 and 22-year-old kids. And at the end of the day, get out of here with the helping the kids. You're paid to win. You're paid to win. Stop with this dynamic of trying to balance the 5-star freshmen with dudes that are going to win you games, Cal. Because at the end of the day, what senior transfer wants to play on a team where he's going to have to be fighting for time with the 5-star freshman? That's hard.
I think he's got to flip the mindset to, instead of building a team of freshmen and plugging in the holes with the fifth years, the fourth years, the transfers, the grad transfers.
Build it with veterans.
Build a team in a program where you get a little bit of continuity, right? Bring in some guys who are going to be there for 2 or 3 years, and then plug the gaps with some of these 5-star
Is
freshmen.
that like
no,
maybe
you don't think
Danny
so?
Hurley?
You guys can't think 2 or 3 years down the road. It's not
1 year,
happening.
right.
It's 1 year. Nobody's doing that. UConn, literally, with Klingon, it's a hometown discount. He's a local kid. It fell in their lap. Like, sometimes you just
Nobody
get fortunate.
knew how good he was gonna be.
Sometimes you're just fortunate enough, and luck, Lady Luck's on your side. You get a local kid that wants to be there, and Klingon just comes in behind him.
Wait. Hold on.
2 and 3 years, Rob?
So you're telling me that UConn was lucky to get Cam Spencer after they went after Nick Timberlake?
Saying, listen,
what happens if Nick Timberlake is there instead of Cam Spencer?
If Donovan Klingon ain't on his staff, I don't give a damn who else is on this. They ain't going nowhere.
All right.
And if Donovan Klingon shouldn't, if he wasn't a local kid, this is a totally different thing.
We got 4 minutes here.
You don't think so?
We'll be back to this discussion. There's a guy in a Santa outfit now. Is the Grinch?
It's the Grinch.
We had Shrek. The Grinch is in the house. He's going to give. Is he giving you a ride to dinner?
What's up?
Is the Grinch?
Where's the mask?
Is the Grinch? Yeah, you got to have your mask if you're driving.
There
We
it
had
is.
Shrek earlier, motor right on by, and the Grinch. He's there. Do we have him on camera here?
Oh,
Do we have
he's
him?
coming.
Is he
There
come
we
on
go.
over, Grinch? Grinch, come on over with Goodman.
We got a Grinch.
The best of friends here. Come on over, Grinch. Grinch, who do you like in the Final Four? Who do you like? Come on over. Come on over. Are you responsible for UConn's travel issues?
How you doing?
Oh, man. How are you? How are you, man? Come on. Who do you like in the Final Four? Yourself? You're going to steal the Final Four from us?
UConn or Purdue if they get to the title game?
You.
UConn or Purdue? Purdue.
He
He
likes
went with
Purdue.
Purdue. He likes Purdue.
I like Mr. Grinch. Mr. Grinch. What's on the docket tonight? Okay. All right. You're going to be giving people rides. Shrek earlier was riding his bike. Are you a friend of Shrek? You are? Yeah. Okay. Have a great night. All right. Out of all the things,
My man's off.
are you and the Grinch related?
Somebody have called me a
Been of the
Grinch.
day.
It's time for final thoughts. I want you guys to each give me, I'm not going to hold it to you, something bold that you think could happen this week.
I get in trouble whenever I give bold predictions.
Why? You were right on UCLA missing the tournament. You nailed that prediction.
I don't know. Dauster reminds me of all the predictions I get wrong.
You got a lot of bad ones wrong. The vaulted predictions, a lot of bad ones wrong. It's just,
I knew it!
Shrek.
Shrek is here! Ladies and gentlemen, Shrek!
Shrek, who you got in the Final Four?
Who
Who's
you like in
winning?
the Final Four, Shrek? UConn or
Oh,
Purdue?
look at the eyes, man. Scaring me. Freaking eyes.
Shrek likes UConn!
Shrek likes UConn.
Shrek
Wow.
likes UConn. All right. UConn. Shrek. What's
Hold
this?
on.
Oh, there's a
Hold
third
on.
one. There's a third one. I kind
Who's
of
joining us next?
Shrek mask.
Who's joining us
joining
next?
us next?
Oh, it's the donkey.
Donkey.
It's Jeff Goodman. It's a
Now,
jackass.
can I borrow your Shrek mask? No, it only goes on you. These are only you.
I would let you wear donkey, but you can't wear Shrek because that's me.
That's you. Where's Fiona?
You know, I've had to ask. And the entertaining brain say and get it. But the brain I'm listening to says, you know, we don't quite think you have the equipment for that one.
Okay.
Oh, got it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Fiona.
Shrek, thank you. What's that? He doesn't have the equipment to beat Fiona.
Correct.
Did you get the joke?
Yeah, I got it.
I got the joke.
I did get it.
Randolph, do you have a bold prediction here before we get off the air?
I'll start. My boldest prediction is one of the two underdogs will be ahead at halftime in the national semifinals. One of Alabama or NC State will be up at the half.
If I had to say a bold prediction would be Purdue wins the national championship.
Okay.
I mean, that's really the only bold prediction that you can make. But
No, well, you can make the boldest, which is one of NC State or Alabama win.
So you're saying, one of them's going to win.
Not.
Lock
I'm
it
not
in.
saying
Paul Staubby. Paul Staubby, lock it in on Vaulted.
I never said that.
Lock it in on Vaulted.
Changes everything I say. He misquotes me.
Yeah, it's wrong.
I'm so disappointed. Look, Stanford Steve is from Ansonia, Connecticut.
He's going to join us
He's from
tomorrow.
Ansonia, Connecticut, and he is wearing a Purdue shirt on Sports Center right now.
Tomorrow on the show.
He is getting
we
disowned by the
figure it out.
entire city of
We're gonna have some
Ansonia.
surprises. I think, Bruce Pearl might be here.
Rob books
Scott
the guest,
Drew in
right?
the next few days. We could have Grant McCaslin. We're going to have a lot of people. Andrea Hurley hopefully will join us.
That's
so we will have a loaded next
If they
couple
ever make
days,
it to
okay?
Phoenix.
Thursday, Friday, we're going to have a lot of good guests coming on as usual, as we've done the last couple of years at the Final Four. No place better to be than listening and watching Field of 68.
And no place better to be than Huss Brewing Company.
Hey, and I'm shouting out the DJ because first I had Shaka, then I had Teddy P. Now I got. You hear that? Oh man, y'all.
He said Marvin Gaye.
I got Marvin Gaye playing. I'm good. I'm done.
We're at Huss Brewing Company.
Randolph Childress is ready to go play a basketball game right now. That's what I'm
Are
saying.
you? You're going to play?
He's getting dinner.
Well, he's got homework.
He does some
I gotta
homework.
do my homework.
He does
Got
some homework to
tonight.
do.
For
That's
RC, for Rob Dauster, for Jeff Goodman, I'm John Fanta. Thanks to Trevor Valise, Dagan Hughes, Jalen, Tristan Freeman, our entire crew. We're back tomorrow, 4 to 7 Pacific from Huss Brewery, right at East Monroe Street. Stop by and see us. We'll buy you a beer. They got so many great brews, from the Orange Blossom to the Scottsdale Blonde to this Lopes Lager for Grand Canyon. The Lopes. Good night, everybody. Night 1 in Phoenix in the books. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.